Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Daytona International Speedway on iRacing. You're watching the full-length Cup Challenge here on Maconi Entertainment. And tonight, it is the Soda Wars 400, 160 laps under the lights, the regular season finale. By the end of this race, the playoff grid will be set and the regular season champion will be crowned. I'm Kirk Mills, joined tonight in the booth by my partner, Ewan O'Leary, with DJ Lyon producing the action, being brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. From the booth to the cameras, we are ready to bring you every second of the action from Daytona. Ewan, before we dive into the stories and the drivers, take a moment to appreciate the stage that we're on, Daytona. It's unlike anywhere else. Dry oval, steep banking, in the draft. From a driver's perspective, what makes Daytona's layout so unique to you?
Well, you can see it partially there in the bottom left-hand side of the screen, those 31 degrees of banking. No need to lift around Daytona, at least not on your own. It is a special place. Plate racing is a special thing, and it's been at Daytona now for about 30 years or so. We've very much enjoyed it down the years as well, and the different forms that it's taken on. In these next-gen cars, it takes on another different kind of challenge for these drivers. And this is a little bit of a more condensed race, of course, than the Daytona 500. Just 160 laps, as you say. That is a much shorter race. It doesn't sound like it would be, but it's a much shorter race than that first race of the season. And it comes at such a crucial point in the season as well, as you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the season finale. You see right here, we're at Daytona. Next week, we start the playoffs at the Southern 500. I'm excited for that one and for this one tonight. A lot of storylines going into this. At the very top, take a look at it. It's all eyes on Andrew Dyson. 5 wins this season, the dominant force all year long. His best case scenario, he needs to finish 13th or better tonight to lock himself in as the regular season champion. But why it won't come easy is because he's starting all the way back in 40th place, dead last on the grid tonight. That means Dyson has to fight his way through the entire field of Daytona, a place where nothing is guaranteed. But also, when we're coming to the regular season's points championship, Matt DeCiani actually is in second in points, and to be able to win the regular season championship, he has to go above and beyond what he's done all year. He needs to be up front, winning stages, and ultimately winning the race. Simply put, he has to be flawless, and he knows that his best chance comes if Dyson has a bad night. As you can see on your screen there, we have 160 laps, the stages at 35 and 95, tire limits at 7, and no fast repairs. So that means if you wreck, you're done. Get out of the car. And then, of course, we have our open setups here, so people bring what they can to make the cars fast. What I can tell you now is that it's all about the cut line is what we got going on, and it's going to be wild to see who's going to be able to be there at the end of the night at the top of the list. Right now it's Sean O'Brien Jr., but 7 drivers are going to try and take that away. But let's go into the starting lineup here. On the pole, it's going to be Lucas Hoytsma, and to their outside will be Paul Gallimore sitting in second place. Starting in third tonight will be Ralph Hutchinson, and to their outside, Joseph Galata coming off his win at Richmond. Starting in the 5th place spot tonight will be Jacob Simpson. To his outside, Dave Hoytsma with one of the best starts of his year so far. Starting in 7th tonight will be Jonathan Delaney, and to his outside will be Chris Davis in 8th. 9th place starting position goes the way of Bobby Anderson trying to win in your end there. To his outside will be Tyler Hunter in 10th.
11th will be Adam Bitterfield, who ran so well at stages last week. He's starting 11th alongside Matt DeCiani, still without a win somehow. Maybe tonight will be his night on row 6. Devin Medeiros will start from 13th, another one of those win and you're in drivers. Richard Klenman is in 14th place off of the start at Daytona. Alex Coffey and Sean O'Brien Jr. then share row 8. Sean O'Brien Jr. hopes that none of those 7 in the must-win club win tonight, otherwise he'll be pushed out of the playoffs. Nolan Hodgson and Patrick Kidder will start on row 9. And rounding out the top 20, it's Billy Brickley and Paul Hill.
Starting in 21st tonight will be Alex Murray, and to his outside, Evan Mesnard in the 73. Starting in 23rd tonight will be Derek Heitman, to his outside, Cameron Stone in the 57 car. Starting in 25th will be Daniel Llewellyn, and to his outside, Hunter Truel. Starting in 27th this afternoon will be Alex Princeton, and to his outside, Tanner Marty. Starting in the 29th spot will be Eddie Rose, and rounding out our top 30 will be Stephen Williams.
another one in the must-win club, and directly behind him is Tomasz Kurmasewski. On the other side of the grid is Brandon Hastings in 31st, at the 88 car though in that must-win club as well. Lau McDonald and Kevin Kosiak share row 17, further towards the back of the field. On row 18 it's Jordan Person, who's alongside Neil Pearson, the final of the 7 drivers in the must-win club tonight, starting the furthest back. Clayton Hoffman is 37th, ahead of Jason Taylor, who will start from 38th position. And finally, at the back end of the grid, Matthew Long, 39th, and Andrew Dyson, 5 wins on the year, starts from 40th.
Has to go all the way from the back to the front if he wants to be able to win this regular season championship. Worst case scenario, he'll need 13th or better. Best case for him, if the other 2 don't get any stage points, they will have to finish 33rd. Here we go, weather conditions. Here we go, we got it 80 degrees right there. I am so excited. That pace car is gonna dive down off into the pit lane, and we're about to get this race underway. Green flags in the air, boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing from Daytona, boys. Returns 1 and 2, that bottom line's got the advantage. Gallimore clears his way down from 2nd place starting position. He now leads the bottom lane, being pushed by Lucas Hoitzma, and the field following in, single file behind him, double file from 5th on back.
And a look already, our first look at maybe 3 wide as they try to dump the first guy on the outside row, because that outside line's going nowhere. You can see the first 3 on the inside, first 4 now clear at the start-finish line.
It's going to be really difficult to pass in these next-gen cars, so it's all about track position. Paul Gallimore up front, Lucas Hoitzma there in 2nd place, Hutchinson in 3rd. These guys now just want to hold on to that bottom of the racetrack and don't give it up for anything. You also have Simpson there sitting in the 2 car. He's going to be somebody to watch tonight. I think he's going to be a really aggressive driver. He's sitting right in front of Delaney, who also is right now leading, I think, our king of the super speedways point standings right now. So he's where he needs to be for that, as we got sparks flying all over the place. Take a look at that heading out of turn number 4.
Yeah, I've really noticed that in practice, by the way, before we came to air. The sparks are really prominent through 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4. Down the straightaways, it seems okay, but in the corner...
Oh, they're wrecking! Oh. Out of turn, the tri-oval, 3 cars go for a spin. Eddie Rose and I think that's Alex Princeton involved as well. And it looks like the 92 of Clayton Hoffman are all involved in the incident out of the tri-oval.
Yeah, looks like a 4-driver incident. At least 4 drivers delayed. We'll see what the damage is like, but as you mentioned at the top of the show, no fast repairs tonight. You've got to keep your car clean. See how it happened. Oh, that's a misjudgment from car 46.
There was a giant checkup on the bottom of the racetrack, and when that happened, the 46 had to go up to avoid rear-ending the car in front of him. And unfortunately, there was a car up there on the outside. So that checkup that happened, he was forced up after contact with the 19. Both cars go for a spin. Heavy damage for the 19, I think, is the worst for wear here, but the other 2, a little bit of damage here and there. I'm sure that will be repaired, and they'll be able to get back out underway. But that is going to be our first caution of the night here on lap number 3 to start things out here from Daytona.
Yep, I wasn't expecting one so soon, I must admit. I thought we were going to run through this first stage quite nicely, but apparently not. And that's, by the way, the dangers of running at the back. I actually quite liked initially seeing Andrew Dyson towards the back and thinking, you know, that might be a good call, actually, for a regular season points leader who, as you say, is trying to close out that regular season tonight. And I think, you know, even if the other 2 do score well in the stages, he'll back himself to finish 13th or better at least. And you know, maybe maybe he doesn't even need 13th. We'll see how they finish later on, of course, those other 2. But you know, that's the danger. You're never safe anywhere at Daytona, really. Even if he, you know, can you imagine if he was running at the back there? He could have been involved in a lap 3 incident, and for a regular season points leader, you can't afford that.
Absolutely not. You do not want to be anywhere near it. Remember, he started at the back of the field. He gained 10 spots in 3 laps. That Andrew Dyson machine of the 41, He went from 40th all the way up to 30th, just like that in just 3 laps. That was kind of wild to see that happen. But something we gotta be talking about is what this cutoff line is actually gonna be all about. Only 7 drivers out of the 40 that started today are in a must-win situation. You can see 4 of them here on your screen. Thomas Kulmacheski, Tanner Marty, Bobby Anderson, Stephen Williams, Neil Pearson, Devin Medeiros, and Hunter Truex are the only drivers that could win tonight's race and win their way into the playoffs, because they are the only ones that were within the top 25 in points. And that's what it's all about. You got to be in the top 25 to be able to qualify. And if they are, then they will be able to use that win for their advantage. But Sean O'Brien Jr., he's in the safest spot out of anybody. The only thing he has to do is make sure that none of those 7 drivers win tonight's race. If he's out there, he can make sure whatever it takes to be able to make sure that he's the only one that's able to get through on tonight's race.
Exactly, and that's why actually, to slightly contradict what you're saying there, I would actually be very nervous if I was O'Brien, to be honest, knowing that, you know, that there's 7 drivers you've got to look out for here not winning the race. Of course, the best way you can go and do that as O'Brien is go and win the race yourself, but that is far easier said than done. So we'll see how he goes and deals with that tonight. I think especially because Sean O'Brien Jr. doesn't have any playoff points yet over the course of 25 regular season races. He would very much like to get that, because you've got to start thinking ahead. If you're going to be serious about being a contender in the playoffs this year, you've got to be serious about the amount of points you're losing out on compared to those already in the top 12. You know, he'd start the day effectively, the first day, 6 points below the cut line, and that isn't a lot, yes, but if you can get a few points to just bump him up a little bit and help him along, then that would be a big help.
Absolutely. You know, what we're looking at tonight, because it's all about, you know, these soda wars that we got going on. We're on board with Andrew Dyson right here. A little bit of a replay from what we saw earlier. This is his march to the front. He was sitting in 40th at this particular point in the run, I believe. What he had to do was to go through 10 cars in 3 laps. Let's watch him do it right here. He's sitting in 40th. He's got Daniel Llewellyn there on the bottom of the racetrack, several cars up ahead. How is he going to be able to actually make this work? I have no idea. That is wild to think that you can go through that many cars all at once.
Especially since he's on the outside, which was going nowhere off the start, so he must have done a bit of chopping and changing over the course. I believe we were starting that replay as we were on board with lap 2 here, and I think as we come round here, the crash might be about to happen behind us. So he's made up a couple of places, and for some reason on the outside, he do seem to be able to make up some place if you're a bit further back, and here we go. Bit of a check up into the tri-oval, and that's effectively the concertina effect all the way back down to the very back of the grid. That effectively is what causes the crash behind us.
He never got to get a glimpse of what exactly caused it, but he saw that checkup on the bottom, which compounded the further back he got. So he was in a good position on the outside to avoid it, but we're double filed up on the back straightaway right now. Up front, the only driver that's in our top 10, or so far, the highest running driver out of those that must win, is Bobby Anderson. Bobby Anderson sitting in 7th right now. That 5 car, he just absolutely needs to be in the right spot to win. He's right now driving that Red Bull Ford right now. It's all about soda wars tonight, so all these paint schemes will have different sodas on them, and he wanted to go with the energy drink for Red Bull. So, I mean, he's in a good spot on the bottom of the racetrack here on this restart. He just cannot lose this track position. He needs to stay up front all night.
Can I put my early contender in for my favourite of the liveries?
Oh, yes, definitely. I'd love to hear it.
I think that looks good, the number 5. Not because I'm a fan of Red Bull particularly. In fact, I've never had a zero sugar one, which it looks like that is what it looks like. But yeah, that's my favourite so far. Anyway, the 5 car, that's my favourite.
All right, so who did you pick to win? Right there, Ewan's pick is going to be the 5 car. We'll see if that continues to be the way, or what will happen as we go. We got a lot of racing to go. We're back underway here from Daytona. So we're zoomed in here on that Pepsi car, the 66 of Paul Gallimore, as he gets a great restart and a big jump over the outside line and the inside line.
Has he gone too far out, though? Is he going to be swallowed up by those behind here? Hutchison with a very good push there from whoever's behind him. And, yeah, he blocks up, comes up to block the Heutzmann there. And he can't quite do the same, Gallimore. So the outside line's going to take the lead, maybe for the first time.
Ralph Hutchinson made a move to the top to try and get a move done on the 66. It works out for him. He's got a good push, but as soon as he's clear, he needs to get down quickly. He understands what's happening here. He's got a teammate working with him right now, Hoytsma, right on his tail, giving that 8 car as big as a push as he can, trying to help him lead some laps here at Daytona.
Yeah, is he going to abandon his teammates, or is he going to... And he is. So now that they're clear, he's going to try and get a few of them with him at least. 3 of them come down from the high side to the low side, which is so far been the preferred line. It wasn't the first run anyway.
2 wide throughout the entirety of the field from 5th place on back. Nobody trying to look that 3rd lane quite yet, but we don't want to speak nothing into existence here, but it looks pretty steady out of the gate.
Yeah, it does, and that's good news early on here for all of these guys. By the way, didn't report on pit lane actually. I should have said Alex Princeton has dropped a lap as a result of long repairs, and there have been a couple of other cars having long repairs, but other than that, 38 still on the lead lap. Looks like Jason Taylor actually didn't even take the start here tonight.
I gotta say, one thing about these cars that I always find interesting is that the outside line just cannot go from the back to the front. It just can't. And when you're already up at the front, it just drops like a rock. Galata is one of the fastest cars we see when he was out here. He won last week, but he just can't seem to get that outside line going anywhere. It's just falling back further and further.
Yeah, it's like going through quicksand at the moment for those on the outside line. This is going to get single filed out very quickly. I think the whole field very soon, other than maybe a few at the back, is going to be absolutely... Oh, look at this. This is so demoralising. This is Adam Benefield who's sort of doing his best to push as hard as possible, but right now he's having to push really hard to stop losing places quite as quickly. They're still losing places, but just not as quickly. Oh dear, and he's getting a bit loose as well through the tribal. He might give up soon and just say, well, let's go to the back.
I mean, when you're in this position, it's all about the track position. iRacing is aware of this type of thing, and this next-gen car just is so difficult to even make an extra line work. So we're going to have the single-file line start this thing out. But a quick update I want to give on the 41 car. Andrew Dyson, after 10 laps, he went from 40th to 16th. He's up to 16th already. What a march to the front. One car after another, all the way through the field after just 10 laps.
And, it's impressive, but I would question the sense of it a little bit. I mean, maybe my style of racing at super speedways is very different to his. As somebody's down below the double yellows there, a little bit of a scary moment through the trial again. But yeah, to be honest, if I was him, starting at the back, I would hang around at the back until the big crash happens and then start to pick my way through. But there you go. He wants to battle for some of these stage points likely because of that regular season championship battle we're seeing tonight. And there it is.
Huge checkup was what caused that one. Absolutely.
Yeah. He does the right thing in 92 there, just to drop below the double yellow line. Didn't make up any places, so no penalty being coming. But does the right thing. Just see that coming and sit down on the left-hand side. That was the right thing to do, even if he will have lost some places out of that.
Looks like that we actually had a new leader popped up to the outside line here for the outside line. The 26 of Paul Hill goes up to the top lane, trying to make that thing work right there. It looks like that we just got word from the race director saying that Jedi Taylor has a transmission malfunction, so he is not going to be able to start tonight's race, and he will have a DNF out of tonight's race as well.
He might have done maybe a lap, but maybe not even that. But yeah, out of the race, unfortunately. Our first retirement from the 40. Thankfully, everybody else back in. Alex Princeton, even in 19, is still in after the early crash. And by the way, I didn't comment on this either, but a number of drivers came into the pit lane. Alex Coffey is now the best placed of them. He's moved up to 23rd after restarting in, I think, 30th place. The bottom 11 cars all went in pit lane during that last caution, or they became the bottom 11 anyway, as some of them decided to come in.
Patrick Gitter making a move up to the outside, trying to get in front of the 26 car. It works out for him, but not just him. There goes DeCiani. Remember, he's in a position where he needs to be able to get all the stage points he can to try and win this regular season championship. He needs to get every point he can. Absolutely. If stage points weren't a thing, he would need to Dyson would need to finish 33rd at the absolute maximum for DeCiani to be able to win this thing. So there's a large gap he's got to get back, and every stage point will absolutely help him out. So that Ford car getting a push by Patrick Gitter, no doubt is going to help his cause here, as he's in those Pepsi colors as well. Huge shots on the outside line. This is the first time we see some momentum out of that top line.
And it looks like it's got the momentum to go right to the front. DeCiani leading them through, and surely he's going to take the lead here. Simpson on the inside line now. From second is going to be challenged. From third, sorry. Hoytsma from second now. He's going to be challenged as well. As someone coming down pit lane.
Oh yeah, pit stops. Here we go. Some guys are going down right now. Yeah, holy cow. Hunter Truell goes through the grass on the front straightaway.
Yeah, I couldn't identify who it was, but someone was going way too fast on entry there. You cannot speed at Daytona. If you speed, you're done. And that is the peril of these green flag stops, which have come very early.
We've seen this a little bit this week so far. These guys all coming down pit road. It looks like they're just going to do a little bit of a top off on gas to be able to get back out there and try and finish out the run. Surprised to actually see it, but now we got a new leader. Matt DeCiani takes over the lead. So this is exactly what he needs to do if he wants to win the regular season championship.
Exactly. I'm not sure on the rules, Kirk. You might have to fill me in. But,
there we go. We lost the 57 of Cameron Stone in the grass. He spun out through pit lane.
And is it going to bring out a yellow? No. We stay green so far after 15 laps. And again, that's going to send him right off the back. It's going to be in danger of losing a lap in this first stage, unfortunately for 57. But yeah, you're going to have to fill me in whether there's what the situation is for points for leading laps, because DeCiani certainly needs those.
Oh, absolutely. So in this case, typically it's the fastest lap of the race that gets that. And so every point will matter, and we'll figure this out towards the end. But the major points that they can gain are going to be stage points, and then at the end of the race, finishing position. The two-car Simpson just got a penalty for going through too many boxes, so he's going to have to serve his penalty right there.
Yikes. And that's what we just saw on the low side, and he's going to be a lap down. He already is a lap down now, in danger of going 2 down as well. Needs to try and catch the smaller group that have come out together a little bit further behind. That they are Delaney, Coffey, Hoytsma, Murray, Hutchison, all running together. Sean O'Brien Jr. has not been able to stay with them. After his pit stop on the same lap, he is on his own and going a lap down shortly.
Well, with that in mind, you got to remember, he's in a position where points, it's not going to affect him. Either way, he could finish dead last in today's race, and if we don't get one of the 7 to win, he will be locked in automatically. It won't be a big problem for him. So he's in a spot where he can actually have this happen, and he can still be able to come back from it and not have too much of worry. But I am going to start getting worried if I am the driver of the 41 of Dyson, because DeCiani leading this thing is the last thing that I wanted to have happen if I am Dyson. You do not want your second place in points to try to get anywhere near you.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And just to go back to a couple of things before these guys pitted that I was going to say on that. Think of the situation, as you say earlier, that Dyson, at the start of the day, if there were no stage points, needs to finish 33rd. With every stage point that DeCiani or Delaney scores, that position becomes one further up the grid, if you like. So DeCiani with 2 stage wins and 20 points would suddenly require Dyson 13th place, which suddenly is a lot more difficult. And so every stage point, as we've been saying again and again, and we'll continue to say, it absolutely matters. And as you say, DeCiani leading is the worst news, especially when Dyson's now effectively stuck in 19th because everybody's running single file.
It's hard to be able to make passes whenever you're stuck like that. You kind of have to hope the car in front of you washes up off the bottom of the racetrack and you can stick your nose down there and try and, but that's not necessarily something you want to do. You don't necessarily want to do that as much as you can. But now with this in mind, and we got this giant, long, single file line, if we can get a wide shot of this. Take a look at this. This is just one giant single file line all the way around the bottom of the racetrack.
It's the snake continuing its way around. There is 28 of them involved in it. Brandon Hastings has just got himself caught off the back. That's what the driver you can see 3 seconds or so further back. Others who've been caught off, Trunter Truel, who I think, did you say he tried to come to pit lane earlier? But he didn't actually make it, so he may have gone through the grass and missed it completely. He is about to be swept up by that second group that I was talking about earlier on.
Yeah, he overcooked it on the entry of pit road, so him and also the 57 of Cameron Stone are kind of in a rough position where they're going to need to have something happen to get them back in this race. But you're looking at right now at that second pack. Let's take a look at the lap times here. That's 6 car in terms of what he's running compared to the leader. The 6 car is running 46.1s, with the leader running 46.3. So right now, Delaney's group is actually running about 0.2 faster than the leaders.
My question, Kirk, would be, what's the point? Because surely the guys out front are going to go to the end of the stage without stopping at all. So these guys can good and well go as fast as they want right now, but surely they're going to all finish outside the top 25 and they're going to just restart this next, maybe they'll not pit in the next caution or whatever and go up to the front. But I don't really see the point of pitting in stage 1 because it's so short.
Exactly. It's a very unusual situation. I mean, it could be that they're trying to get topped off so that way whenever they head down for the second for the pit stop at the end of stage number 1, that they could take less gas and then get out in front of everybody else who took more gas because they needed to take more. It might be something like that. So, I mean, we're going to have to see how their strategy plays out. It's unique. I actually hadn't heard of this before. So we also had with this race so far, with it all being single file, these biggest movers, Matthew Long, someone we haven't mentioned quite yet this afternoon, but Matthew Long in the 28 started 39th. He's up to 15th. He's went further forward than Dyson did.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about him at all. That's another livery I quite like, actually. Very simple, but I quite like it.
Oh yeah,
and I like a Diet Coke as well, so that's affecting, I guess. But yeah, up 24 and a great job as well. So he started on the very back row of the grid, and he's locked himself into 15th so far from the first 22 laps of this race. Just 13 to go, sorry, until the first stage ends. Would you believe?
Going by pretty quick. We only had the one caution, a few mistakes by some drivers here in the race so far. But the only thing that we're seeing right now, the back of this field here, if you watch it long enough, you'll just start seeing random checkups here and there. That's expected with everybody saving gas, trying to make sure they make it to the end with as little gas used as possible. Looking at all these different paint schemes, though, there's one that I did not see change too much whatsoever, is actually the 12 car, Nolan Hodgson. Nolan there sitting in the 6th place spot behind Galata. It looks like he's in a position, behind Tyler Hunter, I should say, also having a lovely start of this race. I am surprised to see that, that 12 car, he's been really surprising all year long, being up front, winning races. Somebody who wasn't expected to see that happen. But he's there now, and the car in front of him, that 99, has been going wider and wider out of every single corner. But man, these sparks, you see, there's thousands of those little things every corner. Yeah,
it's remarkable through the corners that they are kicking up so much spark, just dragging along the ground. It clearly seems to work though, and it's something we're going to have to get used to for 400 miles tonight. Just to go back to Hodgson, by the way, in the 12 car in that 6th place. 2 wins, as you say, this year, but in a battle tonight to finish 6th in the overall regular season standings, playoff points and so on the line for that. The drivers involved in that battle will be Patrick Gitter, Adam Benefield, Hodgson himself, and maybe to a degree Paul Hill as well. He should be there or thereabouts. So maybe Dirk Heitman as well, who I don't know if I've seen today actually, but yeah, he will be in a battle with those to finish 6th in points, which, as I say, gets you more playoff points, or less, depending on where you finish in the regular season point standings.
Every single spot's going to matter. This is like one of those races, for all season they're saying every point matters, kind of as a joke. But what we're seeing now is it actually meaning something. Every spot does matter. If you want to be able to try and win a championship this year, you got to be in doing your best week in and week out. And for today, I mean, it's going to be wild to see if they're going to be able to do it.
Having some word in, by the way, on some of that strategy that's happening a bit further down that I'm still very puzzled by. The group from 30th place that is actually growing in size now and increasing in speed as well. They're a lot quicker now than the big group. But apparently, by pitting on lap 15, they can go to the end of stage 2, so they say. Now, I don't necessarily believe that, because that's 80 laps, and that surely is not possible. But, you know, yeah. I'm willing to be proven wrong.
Yeah, they can make it to about halfway. Oh, something's wrong with the 81. Remember, he was actually a driver who was lost the main draft, so he's trying to lock back on to the tail end of that second lead pack draft here. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there. I think he will. I think these guys are going to be nice and go back and grab him. I think that's what we're seeing here. Yeah, he's got it.
He's got it. Yeah, thank goodness for that. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I don't know if you've, how often you've been in super speedway races where this has been the case, where you're sort of hanging around waiting for a group to sweep you up and hoping to try and stay in the draft. Maybe you're a bit damaged or whatever. Not the case in Hastings here, but yeah, it's one of the, you know, super speedway racing's so fun, and you know that is one of the worst parts of it. There is some days where you're just like, this is dull, and those days where you're struggling to find any group to draft with are certainly one of those days. But not too many cars out there right now that are not in anybody's draft and just hanging out there on their own, although there are a few.
Well, we just had a problem up at the front. Paul Hill just got up out of line. He was running in third. He's dropping back a handful of spots. He dropped back all the way to fifth. He found a hole behind Joseph Galata, and I think the 12 car, Nolan, left a hole for him to get into. But another car stuck on the outside right now is Eddie Rose. He was running in a pretty good position a second ago in 22nd, but now he's all the way at the tail end of the field, running now in the... Let's see what he cycles out through to 28, so he lost 6 spots.
Because there's 7 to go in the stage, we are going to start to seriously see some people move to the outside right now at the front. And you can see, I think, DiCiani looking in his mirrors a little bit and thinking, who's going to try and overtake my lead here that I've been holding for the last 10, 15 laps or so. One more thing on that strategy, by the way, just to go back to it. They can do 40 laps, as you say, so they're going to pit just on the other side of the stage break on 55. They're very much hoping that it stays green other than the stage breaks between now and the end of stage 2. But I can now see the point of the strategy. Having said that, there will be some people trying to follow them, I suppose, if they pit on lap 55. Anyway, we'll get back to that later, because this stage is going to start to ramp up in terms of excitement as they aim for lap 35, where those first points are awarded.
Just 5 more laps before we find out who's going to get the points. And right now, DiCiani cannot let anybody by him. He needs to be in his spot right where he is the entire time. And right now, he's got that 21 car Patrick Gooder on his tail. I think he's just going to keep his eyes in the mirror and see if anyone tries to make a move to the top. But considering that most of the guys here are just trying to get to the end of the stage, and you won't necessarily see someone from inside the top 10 make any moves necessarily, we might. But behind them, they're going to have to start making moves now if they want to get up to the front. It's going to be a while before they can, and I don't think it's going to be possible with the way this car is drafting right now.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. And of course, we'll reiterate again just how much DiCiani needs these points. This could be a real proper hard race for the stage points in a moment. You can just see the first movements in the background, saw about 15 deep maybe. As somebody trying to poke the nose and seeing just a bit of a tester, just to see if anybody's going to follow them. Really, this is where you sort of need a teammate to help you out. As that gap opens from second to third, is Hunter trying to get a run maybe?
I think Tyler Hunter's trying to get a run on second place. Yep. He's going to make a move. There he goes to the top. He's going to bring a few cars. DiCiani's going to be in a rough position now. 4 cars on the top, 2 on the bottom. DiCiani's going to get passed on by. Tyler Hunter leads at Daytona for the first time tonight in that Dr. Pepper Chevrolet, being pushed by Joseph Galata in the 99. That was textbook on how you make a pass here right now. You back off, you get a little bit of a gap, and you hammer the gas, and you try to get a run, and once you have it, make a move, and people who go with you, they'll go with you. And Tyler Hunter, hang on to it, Billy Brickley in the 44. He saves the car.
Oh my God, that was close. That was a really close moment on the backstretch. We nearly had a complete wreck of the bottom 20 effectively. You can see a break in the group here. Some guys at the back thinking, well, I'm not going to get any stage points from back here. I don't want any either, so let's save some fuel, let's back off and let's avoid any crash that might happen, because these guys are racing hard for the stage win now.
Galata to the top to block the run by DeCiani. Now they are side by side for the lead. The Tyler Hunter machine on the bottom of the racetrack with Joseph Galata in the 99 on the top. 26 of Paul Hill giving him a shot on the bottom, and the 4 car trying everything he can to get on by on the top line. They are clear for the top 2 spots. Another push from Patrick Gitter gets them a little further forward. There goes DeCiani to the bottom.
He's alongside immediately because he was pushing, so he's gone to the lead again. Lap 33, we've still got 2 to go until the stage here. And look at the group now. It's a big, big difference to even 5 laps ago when they were running single file. Nothing happening, but now it's all happening for the stage win. 2 to go.
Tyler Hunter made a move back out front of Galata. Remember, Galata made a move to try and pass him earlier. Now Tyler's trying to top line. And DeCiani on the bottom, getting a push from Paul Hill. Heavy pushing from the 99. He ain't lifted. He's pushing him all over the racetrack, that 99.
He is, and he's got to be careful in the corners, of course, but he's doing a very good job at the moment of pushing. Now, Hunter seems a bit nervous that it's going to happen again as the 21 Gitter goes to the inside. Now he's trying to take the lead, and Hunter follows him. He's going to block from the front and hope to win the stage by blocking in this manner.
We got 1 lap to go when we cross the stripe. This will be the final time around for stage number 1. Paul Hill makes a move to the outside line. There goes Nolan. There goes Patrick Gitter. Tyler Hunter stuck on the bottom with DeCiani as they have 3 cars stacked up on the top line. Who will have the advantage? Through turns 1 and 2, the 26 is going to be the new leader of the outside line as Patrick Gitter clears for the top spot.
This is not good news for DeCiani. He's stuck right in the middle here, boxed in. Oh, and a push in the outside. Somebody pulling out a line there just to stay out the way. And that's I'm not sure who that is actually, as they come towards 3 and 4 on lap 35. DeCiani pushing. Is he going to come out of line here to try and take second, or indeed the stage win?
Out of turn number 4, coming to the line, the Daytona 500 winner, the FLCC 500 winner, Patrick Gitter is going to win the stage. And DeCiani will take 3rd and 7 precious playoff points, stage points. He needs those so desperately right now, and it's going to help him out a lot.
Yeah, take 8 points, won't he, for 3rd?
Yeah. 3rd, yes, exactly. 8 points. We're going to add that up for sure. Thank you for that, yeah.
No worries. 8 points for DeCiani. We're going to have some serious, calculators are going to be steaming later. In this commentary booth, because there's all sorts of maths going on, but yeah, that's a good run for DeCiani, but a great one from Patrick Gitter to win the first stage of the night and take another playoff point with him as well. He's already knocked into the playoffs, of course. Let's not forget that. He's already got 1 win on the year, and don't forget as well that he is the best placed of those on 1 win. In fact, he's 5th place when you account for the playoff points. He'll add another one there, so he'll be 5th, and he'll be 1 clear of Adam Benefiel. Starting next week in 5th place in the playoffs, if indeed it stays as it is right now, which it won't, of course, because there's still over 220 laps to go.
So the final running order for the top 10 out of the first stage was Dave Hoytsma getting 10th place, 9th Nolan Hodgson, 8th got to Paul Hill, Rich Kleinman got 7th, 6th place went to Joseph Galata, Larry McDonald got 5th, 4th for Bobby Anderson, 3rd for Matt DeCiani, Tyler Hunter got 2nd, and Patrick Gitter again won the stage as they all head down pit road now for the first time tonight in this pack. They're all going to come down and take gas and tires and see what they got to remember that track position is everything here. I'm excited to see who can get a fast pit stop and get back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, they've absolutely got to remember that, of course, early on. But this is a longer second stage, so don't kill yourself too much if this is not a very good pit stop. Get your marks right and make sure you get into the box nice and clean. Who's that making their way out first of all? It looks like car 21 is going to win the race off pit lane.
Bobby Anderson's going to follow in behind in the 5 car, followed by Matt DeCiani in 3rd, Tyler Hunter in 4th, Joseph Galata in 5th. That is your top 5 off of pit road. We're going to take a quick step aside, and we'll come back to re-rack them up and start Stage 2. You're watching the Full Length Cup Challenge, the Soda Wars 400 on Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Daytona for the Full Length Cup Challenge and our regular season finale here on Maconi Entertainment. It's a pleasure to have you back. We're about to get things back underway here in just a moment. And all these drivers out here right now on the back straightaway, double file, ready for the restart. We got to go ahead and mention right now that Andrew Dyson has made his way up to the top 10. He just cracked the top 10. So with that in mind, after pit stops, he is in a position where even if DeCiani were to win another stage, he would be locked in if he finishes where he is currently. So as we continue on, the only thing I could say is that Bobby Anderson is in the best position that he has been in all day. That's your pick there. Well, what do you think about the 5 car?
Yeah, looking good at the moment. I'm enjoying watching that Zero Sugar Red Bull on the outside line. See how this outside line goes. I have a feeling this restart might go quite badly for him actually, because the starts we've seen so far. I don't want to be too negative, but looks like that's not been the place to be really off the start. But let's find out here in a moment. 38 cars back on the lead lap after wave rounds and so on. Only Alex Princeton didn't come in to actually pit that time round. Jacob Simpson having a long repair on pit lane at the moment.
Ace car is going to dive off, and we're going to go back underway. Start of stage number 2 is right now. Five car found a hole in 5th right there. He was able to find a place to ride for a little while, as they are now double file from 6th place on back.
Yeah, and that's going to get single file, you'd imagine, in a couple of moments' time when they all figure this one out. The gap just opens up for 48. Hunter is to the low side, and with everybody just migrating to the bottom, it's just going to be impossible to get anything on the outside line working. If you're on the outside now, try and find a gap on the low side and just try and fit in one whenever you possibly can.
So because Matt DeCiani grabbed 8 points in stage 1, that cuts Dyson's cushion. So remember, he needed 13th or better to lock it up. But now that is going to be a little lower. He doesn't need that many points. He could actually finish in 15th right now if DeCiani were to win the 2nd stage. So with that in mind, it only helps him. So right now, though, that outside line, the 41 of Dyson's leading it. He knows what he has to do. He needs to stay up towards the front. Right now, he's side by side for 5th place. And then with that 41 moving forward, that's just putting him in a position where the regular season championship is pretty much in control at the moment. But remember, it's Daytona. Anything can happen at any given time. And you might be running in 1st place heading out turn 4 on the final lap. But I can tell you, we've had many people in that position that end up finishing in the back 20s by the time they cross the start-finish line. So it's a wild race, and it's going to be something to keep an eye on all night, but it's all about luck and positioning here right now.
Yep, it is those two big things here at Daytona. So far, we've gotten away without big crashes, which is a real positive as well. There's all 38 drivers that still remain in this race, running this one large group. As I mentioned, Jacob Simpson has come down pit lane during that previous caution and might have even parked it up. He's been in for a very long time now. We already know about our first DNF, of course, Jason Taylor, but other than that, we've got everybody still in the game, and this outside line putting up a good fight on the restart of stage 2.
It looks like the outside's losing a slight amount of momentum there. You see Zosiak trying to push Gallimore, but Gallimore is really not helping the 41 whatsoever, and the 41's got to start thinking about finding a hole somewhere on the bottom where he can get in to where he could ride for a little while. That outside line is kind of on and off here, but the bottom line just has so many checkups that they're able to keep up. Patrick Gitter's doing a job here up front, which is just making sure that the car behind him can get air, so that way they don't have to constantly, back off and make their line go slower, which is a benefit to the bottom lane. And the performance of the top 2 drivers in the line always dictate how well the entire line will do. If you got a good group up the front and the bottom, you're going to be able to make it work really well. But on the top, that push from Gallimore seems to be working. He's gotten all the way up to 4th.
And the longer they do this, the longer they sort of put up a fight like they are at the moment, the more some of those on the bottom will start to think, well, maybe that isn't such a bad idea, and maybe I will go and join them up towards the top, and that builds momentum as well. So this could turn good now as he just pulls in the 41 there, Dyson. So that's going to take some real momentum out now as Gallimore, as you say, the best pusher, is now the leader, and that's not good news for the outside line.
Now Zosiak is going to try and push the Pepsi car with that root beer sponsored car. Soda War is going on tonight. Remember that? That's another thing we're going to be watching. Which soda is going to end up trying to get the win, or out of the ones that participate. Still right now, I mean, you got a lot of cars out here trying to just, get to the end of the stage. I'm interested to see where the 6-car Delaney is running, because whenever they came down for pit stops, remember, these guys were in a little bit of a different position. They're not choosing to run to the front. Remember, these guys have great setups, great speed underneath them. They don't have to be back here in the back 30s if they don't want to. They can move up if they want. However, they're choosing to stay in the back for a reason. I think they're saving a lot of gas right now. Super save mode for the back group here.
Yep, I absolutely agree. And the theories we were having earlier about their strategy being towards the front by the end of stage 2, I think is not the case anymore. What their strategy is for this first part of the race is stay out of trouble as much as possible. That's why they pitted on lap 15. They knew that if they did it together, they could do enough to stay on the lead lap. If the strategy was about being at the front by the end of stage 2, they would have stayed out during that first stage break there, but they didn't. They came in, and they are definitely in a super save situation at the moment. And whether it's going to really gain them anything later, I'm not sure. I think this is more than the fuel that they're saving. I think this is about staying out of the double file racing further out front as much as possible here.
I'm starting to see that outside line actually gain some more momentum again, to the point where Gallimore is now side by side with Dyson there for a spot as they entered turn number 1, but as they went through the corner, they lost a little bit of ground, and we're going to see if they can gain it back on the back straightaway. But Patrick Gitter and DeCiani are working really well together, so Galata is just sitting there in third and letting them do the pushing, and just says, all right, I'll put off the lawn chair and ride right behind you guys and try and wait for the right time to make my move.
That's what this full length Cup Challenge is all about. It's not like the other NASCAR Cup Series you see on iRacing, where these races are a lot shorter.
controls the 30. Oh, huge contact. The 5 cars involved. The big one happens on the front straightaway. I see about 20 cars spinning out of the tri-oval here at Daytona. Huge playoff implications. Oh my gosh, that is something we did not want to see this early in the run.
No, that is a huge wreck on the tri-oval. It's always been the tri-oval tonight. That's where the trouble's been. And it's happened again. I think it's trying to grab a side draft 66 and... Oh no, sorry, it's 37 coming down the hill. And look at this.
My goodness, that is in the running of one of the largest crashes we've seen in this group so far. What I can tell you is we're going to look at the exact cause of the incident again. Just keep watching on your screen. More and more cars are going to be involved. We're going to ride on board with the coffee machine here for precision. And let's see what happens. They go into the corner. You're just going to see smoke and then calamity up ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and then what do you do in this situation as well? Big slide, just throw it to the inside if you can. Oh, and that's contact with 26 in the rival. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to work out of the playoff contenders, by the way, who were involved. I'll get back. Tanamardi's definitely involved in 29, I think.
Can we ride on board with Rich Kleinman? The onboard for Rich Kleinman. I think that's where all this began, the 58 car. Yeah, absolutely, that's where it started. So the 58 washed up the racetrack heading into the tri-oval a lot, and it kind of like a lazy turn in a way, and that came up into the outside line where Zodiac was. Zodiac came down, collected the 5 car of Bobby Anderson, remember, who needed to win this race to make the playoffs, hard into the outside wall, collecting everybody else in the field. You see Mesnard involved. You see the 29 Tanner Marty, Paul Hill, Brandon Hastings, Thomas Kumacheski. You see the 12 car of Nolan Hodgson's involved in this one as well. More, and the 76 is Derek Heitman also involved in this particular instance, and the 20 car of Devin Medeiros, another one of the 7 that need to be able to win to make it in.
There's stops, by the way, happening live because they might believe they can get to the end if they super save from now until the end. We're nearly on lap 50, so it's worth coming in now for everybody so they don't have to come in under green. But look at this. It's a spectacular crash. And it's happened, unfortunately, in the first 50 laps. As you say, lots of playoff implications. Neil Pearson definitely survived. He started tonight 36th, and he was running quite well, actually, up towards the front. So he definitely survived. This is Richard Kleinman and what he saw. That's Anderson in front, as you say, another one of those must-win drivers who is going to be in big trouble after that crash. There it is.
I don't think he got too much damage out of that, but everybody behind him most certainly did. And I'm going to be counting the cars here in just a second. I think we're up to 26 cars with damage after all that. A lot of cars getting involved here, and a lot of them needed to win this race to get in. But I will tell you this, that was right in very close proximity to Dyson whenever that all happened. Dyson, remember, he just got up to the front. He just got up ahead of this giant wreck, and he was able to miss it. Let's watch Clayton Hoffman as he tries to navigate his way through.
And by the way, for all these guys who are running at the back on that saving strategy, this is why they were running at the back, so they could give themselves the space to avoid a big crash like this. But let's see how many of them actually managed it. As you say, this is Hoffman we ride on board with. Obviously no idea that this crash is about to happen in front, and you see it quite late as well until you see the smoke, and now you'll start to get an idea. And have a look at this. It's all happening in front. And just about slips through and avoids on the right-hand side, sees a gap in front, fire through there, thank you very much. He avoids it all and survives the big one from Daytona.
Brilliant job to be able to get through that. I mean, the odds of being able to miss that, the whole track was blocked. There was not a single lane on the racing surface that was open. So the 92 went down. He didn't even touch the pit road exit cone. He was able to find a hole right there to get through, and it was really unique to see the 92 just work his way through. That was probably one of the best avoidances we've seen all season, but we're going to have to re-rack things. Take a look at this. We're on the 1 to go signal. We're going to go back green here in just a second. We're on lap number 50. We're going to get the green with 51. And because of all this, I mean, up front, not much has really changed, but the 4-car DeCiani is in a position where he really needs to stay ahead of the 41 to help every chance he can get, but he doesn't want the 41 up towards the front at all.
No. And that's going to be a big problem for him over the course of this next part of the race, because there's not many drivers left to actually overtake Dyson, which is quite a big problem. And further behind, you can see the long stops that have been happening. Everybody came in to top off on fuel, but not everybody needed damage repair. In fact, only the top 16 didn't need any damage repair at the end of that. So that's 24 drivers, if you were, well, 22, I suppose, from that crash in particular, who have got big damage as a result of everything that went on there. And one driver who's definitely off the lead lap now of those must-win drivers, Bobby Anderson. We know that pretty much all of the other, apart from Neil Pearson maybe, has got a little bit of damage, but Anderson's got by far the worst of those must-win drivers.
I hate to say it, man. That was a big wreck, and it took out a lot of good guys. A lot of guys trying to go for wins here. And now we're going to have to take a second to actually look and see, out of this top group, who can win. And in the only one that comes to mind is the 62 of Neil Pearson, currently running in 6th. He's in a position where he could possibly get it done if he's able to win tonight. So he's just got to ride where he is, and we'll see if he's able to hang on to it in that Coca-Cola car. We're back underway. Gitter chose the outside. We're back underway here from Daytona. Gulata got left out to dry on the top lane. He has no help. He's going to have a push from the 6th car, Delaney, who was riding in the back of the field earlier. We talked about him. Now he's in the top 10 and pushing Paul Gallimore all the way up to the back bumper of Gulata.
And this is the strategy for those who run towards the back at the beginning of the race. Wait for the big one to happen, avoid any damage, and then come to the front. Here they go. They pull down low. Gulata officially leads for the first time since he won at Richmond last week.
Crossing the line this time. Is he going to lead the lap? It looks like that lap will go the way of Delaney. Delaney led that lap across the line as he's getting pushed by Lucas Hoytsma on the outside there. I think that Alex Murray, too, 3rd car on the outside line, also trying to make his way towards the front in that 7 car. He's got a lot of speed tonight, getting shots from behind from Heitman. And Heitman we saw spinning a little bit ago, and now he's in the top 5.
That's crazy how races can change at Daytona very quickly, but those three have got together very nicely, and they get to the front. The 76 not quite able to go with them, though, Heitman, and that is going to send the outside line going backwards here, and he abandons them immediately.
New outside line leader. It's the driver who ended up being the cause of the previous big one that we had. It's Rich Kleiman there on the outside line. I'm not entirely sure if Rich is going to be able to make this outside line work, but he's got Larry McDonald on his tail trying to give him a good shot, getting him up to the front, but I don't see any momentum out of that top lane right now.
Oh, and they're stacking up. It's almost dangerous the way there's no momentum at the moment. They're almost stacking up into each other and causing another wreck, so they've got to be very careful of that. If you think, by the way, this front group looks a lot smaller than before, that's because it is, not least because of the pit stops, but there will be some cars struggling to stay in touch even with the draft down there because of the damage they've got.
Absolutely. These cars are pretty beefy, so the odds of them getting like damage to where they can't keep up, I mean, you have to get hit pretty hard for that to happen. But that big wreck, we most certainly saw that through most of the cars. Larry McDonald now leads the outside line, trying to find a hole to get back down to the bottom. And I think that that's going to be the story of the outside line. I think this is a dying outside line, so they're going to be trying to find a spot to settle in. As up front, Delaney, Hoytsma, Murray, Gulata, and Gallimore are your top 5.
And they are pushing hard as well. I would have thought this run would be about saving fuel because they want to get to lap 95, but these guys are not that interested in lap 95, it looks like. Much more interested in breaking away. And look at this, the front 5 are in danger of making a break for this now. Delaney, Hoytsma, Murray, Gulata, Gallimore with a bit of a gap here. And Heitman has got to be pushed by the rest, and he will get pushed back in touch, but that was a dangerously big gap there. Imagine if you let the front 5 just get away like that. We know their speed, especially Delaney running in that other group earlier, but yeah, they get back in touch just about. That was a minor concern for a moment.
They kind of got this 3-car tandem thing going on. You can see that with the 7 car right on the back bumper of Lucas. I mean, that is going to be something to pay attention to. That's a really old Pepsi paint scheme for Lucas tonight, but another Pepsi car. We've seen at least 3 of them so far, but that one's a little old school. I like that one a lot. Very cool looking from the 97. Yeah,
that is a good looking Pepsi car. Certainly, although as you say, there are quite a few of them. I must admit, there's some drinks that must be American because I don't recognise all of them. Obviously, Pepsi, I can identify. That's we do have that, but yeah, some of them look very strange. As I said earlier, I presume some of them are not quite participating in Soda Wars and have just stuck on their normal livery anyway.
You know, Soda Wars for Jonathan Delaney is every race. He runs that Mountain Dew Baja Blast car week in and week out. That car, it changes from time to time, but this week he's brought it back out, the Baja Blast vehicle. Caution's out, and I don't see where that may have come from. Oh, on the back straightaway, Kevin Zosiak.
Oh, a spin off of 4 as well for somebody.
That is Zosiak, sorry, front stretch.
Oh.
I thought that was on the back for a second there, but yeah, 37. What happened to Zosiak here? Oh, no.
That front right, by the way, is already toasted. Well, it is toast now. The front end, of course, he's been net-coded slightly there, and hard in the fence off of 4.
That ain't it. Hard on the bottom, too. Yikes. A lot of front damage there for the 37 of Zosiak. He's going to have problems. He's going to have to come down and get that damage repaired, and even then, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep that car back in a good running order, but I think there may have been a light amount of net code there to be able to send them around. We'll have to pay attention here from the back of Hastings' view. Let's take a look into the corner. It's just a little lower than Hastings was. Hastings was lucky to get by without any damage there.
Yeah, I think it was netcode with the 74 that caused the contacts. 74.
Chris Davis.
Yeah, Chris Davis, who's 30th now as the caution flies. So that's where it all came from. You'll see it here, the way the car just snaps sideways very violently on the outside from this camera view here, despite the fact they're not really that close. There you go, they're kind of close there, kind of close, there you go. They're not making contact though. And yeah, Davis may come in just to see if there's any repairs to be done on this lap now, as pit lane will open this time round and only a few takers.
First one out of all of them is Paul Gallimore. He was running in 6th when he crossed the stripe. Now he's back in 7th. He's going to have to come down, and it's an interesting strategy to pit here. I'm not exactly sure if that's necessarily a choice that I would have made, but we'll have to see how it stacks up. We're going to watch Gallimore as he's trying to get back up to the front.
I think it's a decent choice because there would have been so much saving needed to be done, and this caution, of course, is going to eliminate some of that saving to lap 95, where the second stage is going to be awarded another 10 points for the winner, of course, down to 1 for 10th. And you know, this caution rather brings them more into play. But if you can take a bit more fuel on board, if you've got a bit more damage to go in and repair, this is absolutely the time to go and do that now. And if you do take some fuel on now, you can definitely go to the stage, and actually you can push quite hard as well. So when it comes down to it towards the end, you can actually push really hard for the win, which could be important for a few of those who came in that time.
Well, while they're getting this all racked up, we're going to take a quick step aside here for a short while. We'll be right back to the Full Length Cup Challenge Soda Wars 400 on Maconi Entertainment in just one moment. Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway for the full-length Cup Challenge here for the Soda Wars 400. You're right now taking a look at the top two cars on the grid. That is Lucas Hoytsma and to his outside Jonathan Delaney. Delaney has chosen to start on the outside for this restart, and that means Joseph Galata is going to be behind him, going to be giving him a shot here. I was kind of surprised to see that happen the way it did. However, they're both teammates on the front row, Hoytsma and Delaney, so we'll see how well they're going to be able to hang up towards the front. We saw it earlier. They were able to take control, and it was hard to get it back to the point where almost the entire top five almost pulled away from the field.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see whether they can do that again here, and they're certainly going to push harder, I would imagine, in this next part of the race, because this caution has just allowed everybody to save a bit of fuel. Beforehand, making it to the second stage, lap 95 would have been quite tight, but it will be a bit more of a comfortable situation now with still 35 to go until that second stage.
Here we go through the restarted zone. We are back underway. Even restart for the top and the bottom. Top line has slight momentum over the bottom. Delaney's going to be able to clear in front of Hoytsma. Now Galata has Patrick Gitter right on his back bumper, and we'll see how long that lasts as everybody in the top line's bailing down to the bottom as quick as they can.
Yeah, and on the one hand, that is taking momentum out of the top line drastically, as you can see, but it did stack up the low line very quickly there initially, so anybody wants to jump to the high side quickly, they can steal some momentum away as they just get sorted out on that bottom, but now they are on the back straight. There's a few beginning to see that opportunity further up top, but not many, and that low side again looking good.
DeCiani allowed the 99 of Galata to get back in line there. What I can tell you is that 4-car sees his main championship rival just one car ahead of him, and that 41 of Dyson. That's going to be the story for that I think we're going to focus on. They're right there, and they know what they got to do for tonight. And the 99 of Galata is the only car standing between them, but anything could happen as we continue on. They got in single filed out for the front five. Again, that is Delaney, Hoytsma, Alex Murray, Derek Heitman, Andrew Dyson, and then I believe that is our top five for the front group.
Yep, it certainly is. This front group, which still is rather large, still 34 in this front of the race. Adam Benefield, the only driver still out there on the circuit right now, who is running one lap down. Some long repairs still happening down on pit lane. And I wonder, sceptical now, whether some of those are even ever going to return here from Daytona, which is a bit of a shame. But thankfully, that big crash we saw just after the start of stage 2 has not completely ruined the race and taken most of the field out of the game. A lot of guys have come back here, which is good to see.
I'm starting to notice that this pack has kind of gotten into two separate parts. You kind of got the front pack here, where like the 76 is running here. From 76 on forward is the front pack. You got that middle pack where everybody's just too wide, and then towards the back end of the field, you're just having a lot of cars riding nose to tail without any issues or anything right now. They're just riding around. But a battle that I'm seeing on track that's actually a little interesting to me is the 83 of Adam Benefield and Kevin Zosiak at the very back of the line. The 83 has a lot more speed. We saw Zosiak, remember, get hit hard in the outside and the inside wall. That 37 is just trying to keep up with the main pack. But Adam Benefield has been trying to get around him for the last 3 laps, and he wasn't able to do it. He's trying to push him so they could stay in the draft, but every time he makes a move, he's not able to actually stay in the lead draft. So the 37 is getting huge assistance here with a lot of damage from the 83 right now.
And he's made it back as well. I thought they were gone. I really did think they were absolutely finished there, those two, but no, they made it back again. He's got to keep pushing him, Benefield, until he can spot somebody else on the outside. He can go and join or try and get 37 out of line or something. He's got to just keep pushing him for the moment. He's not going to save any fuel like this or whatever, but that's fine. Just stay in the draft and make sure that that you're there to catch the lucky dog next time there is a caution. He's the only driver at the moment, one lap down.
So with the 83 now pushed that 37 back up to the field, they're going to hang on to the lead draft. That 37 car hit the outside wall hard and the inside wall hard, and he's still on the lead lap, and he is in a position where he's going to stay at the lead pack. That is iRacing's physics for you right now. Holy cow. Damage model. that might be a problem. We'll have to see. But over time, hopefully they'll get that a little more realistic. But back up to the front, you're seeing that outside line. It is starting to diminish. Again, after a handful of laps, that outside line just says, nope, ain't going to work no more. And it goes straight on backwards.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird, isn't it, the way that it works sometimes? Because it's definitely possible to make it work on the outside. Oh, goodness me, that was a chop, wasn't it, down the inside, as somebody abandoning the top line. But yeah, when there's no motivation here, or when there's little motivation on the outside, you just go nowhere. And that's what we're sitting at the moment. These guys just waiting for a little bit of a gap to slot in there. Car 80 trying, but there was no gap there on the low side. And, well, they're stuck up here on this hiding to nothing for the moment.
Only 4 cars up there on the top line. One of them is in one of the must-win positions. That's the 20 car, Devin Medeiros, in the Sprite car, the only green one there on your screen. He's in a position where he can definitely make it if he wins tonight's race. But he was involved in that big one incident. He was able to get some damage repaired, and now he's stuck on the outside. As we continue to drive here, very few want to head up to the top side, but when they do, it's just obvious that it's going to take a while before they get any sort of forward momentum. But man, just all the sparks that these cars are laying on the racetrack. I mean, it sounds like it shouldn't be that way. You don't necessarily see that very often on Daytona for the real thing.
Yeah, it's very odd, isn't it, to see? But again, that's what I think physics model is like in this build, and so just throw up those sparks a little bit more than you might otherwise see when we return back to Daytona next year, or indeed when we come to Talladega later on this season for the penultimate round in the round of 8. And maybe we'll see something a little bit less, because there'll be a new iRacing build, of course, before that third last race of the season, as it will be race 34. But by the way, there are the draft track. What's the right word? King of the Super Speedway Series. That's what I'm looking for. The Super Speedway races that are being fought over in terms of points. Delaney currently leading those, by the way, and he's showing his dominance on Super Speedways this season by leading this race right now as well.
Well, take a look at the outside line. Where did it come from? All of a sudden, the 76 of Heitman is able to get up side by side with the leader. Something just happened in the field where a light switch just was switched on, and now people want to move to the front. That 99 and the 76 and the 21 are on the top trying to make that outside line work, and it is working for the moment as the 76 clears the 6. Will he pull down? He sure does.
Yeah, and he might well try and control this one from the front now. Is he going to just change between the lines, or is he going to stay there? Gallotta's half committing to the low side. He wasn't quite clear, though, and Delaney able to stay alongside, but no, the outside. Look at the runoff of 4. They're going to lead the lap.
Just like that, that clears almost 3 cars at the front. I think it does. The 80 car is able to get down. Now look at Devin Medeiros. He's going to be the one on the outside leading that line as the 80 car of Larry McDonald. Again, up to the top 5. He had some stage points in stage 1 as well, but these guys are all over the place.
Goodness me, that was that the Sprite car or the Pepsi car there? Just dropping down low and so nearly causing a crash, because there was barely a car length, but just about got in. And again, the switch has been flicked and the outside's going nowhere. But at some stage, it begins to hold its own there on the outside. It begins to just at least stop losing places. They stop, as they stop coming down to the low side as a result. And then that's when the momentum builds up when we get a new leader. But for now, we're going through the stage of it going backwards.
Yeah, that was Devin Medeiros in the 20 car. Sprite able to find a hole to get into, exactly what he needs to do, and because he's in a must-win situation. He has to win tonight. That's his only way he's going to make the playoffs. And nobody else on his team is currently in a position to be able to do that. Tanner Marty, who was also a part of that ability, I guess he's still out there as well, running in 14th on the outside. He's a 3rd car on the outside line right now. But as you can see, Gallotta, he's running a way higher line than I would expect the leader of the race to be doing right now. But the second line has really died, and the only one leading it I see right now is Dave Hoytsma.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just going the wrong way for the moment, the outside line. Again, though, it will come back again. We're seeing it tonight. It's not completely useless on the outside line. You can definitely come back on that outside. I just wonder whether these fuel gains are starting to become a factor in everybody's mind as they start to break away at the front. Are there a few guys hanging back thinking, I'm not sure I'm quite going to make this, so I've got to go back in the pack and fuel save a little bit. I wonder how close they really are.
Single file for most of the field. We're riding on board with Kulmacheski right now. He's also in a must-win situation in that 88 car. He's stuck in a position where he can't necessarily move forward, man. I mean, when you're in this position, how do you feel? I mean, it feels kind of helpless, don't you think?
Yeah, you do feel a little bit like you're sort of stuck here. But, you know, he's one of those must-win drivers, so might not be the worst thing hanging around at the back and trying to avoid the big crash, because surely there's going to be another one before the end. I'm a big advocate of this sort of waiting for the field to thin out as you hang around at the back. I know people say that means you just get caught up in the accident, but if you're getting caught up in the accident and you're at the back, you're in the wrong place still. You need to be further back and, you know, ideally absolutely last if it was me, but that's just my philosophy. You know, it's difficult to tell racing drivers to stop racing for the lead or indeed stop racing for whatever position it is. So yeah, maybe this exact position here is not ideal because he's got car to the left, car in front, car behind, which is, you know, 3 of his 4 corners and not particularly ideal when it comes to avoiding a crash if one happens in front of him. But, you know, I don't hate hanging around at the back at all. Stage points are not a concern for Kulmacheski at all.
They're 3 wide back here, actually, right now. One car got sent up to the outside line, Tanner Marty. So I think right now, it's really chaotic right there. Tanner Marty just got sent way outside line, and he has nowhere else to go. He has to pull back in, and he's going to be the last car on the outside line.
Yeah, you know, people doing that will get caught up in a crash at the back and say, well, it doesn't work, does it, hanging around at the back? I still get caught up in crashes, but that's exactly what I mean. Running 3 wide back here is kind of senseless, really. You want to be taking it easy, watching out in front, make sure you don't get involved in the big one, and make sure you keep a clean race car for the end, because, I mean, who knows how much damage some of those guys who got caught up in the first one have even still got. You know, they're running well enough to stay in the draft and be competitive-ish, but when it comes to having a race-winning car, if you're already damaged, then what's the point? Somebody else goes backwards there.
You know, I think that you had a point here. I think one driver in the field right now is actually listening to your advice. Hunter Truel in the 71 is currently the last car in line on the bottom of the racetrack, and he's a part of those drivers that needs to win to be able to make it in. We haven't seen him up towards the front at all today. I mean, he's one of those guys that are just trying to make it to the end. That's the important thing. You got to be there at the end to be able to have a chance to win. But with that in mind, he's got an interesting paint scheme here as he has to avoid a huge checkup every single lap. It seems like he's trying to avoid a checkup, but that's a new Monster Energy paint scheme there.
Yeah, that look, just the advertisement on that flavour looks like it would wake the dead to me. But there you go. Look at that. That's going to punch you in the face in the morning, isn't it? As the name suggests. Goodness me. Anyway. I don't think we should drink one of those. That'd be a broadcast and a half. That'd be for sure. But yeah, maybe he is. I mean, we saw him try and come in with the other. I mean, ultimately he did fail in the first stint to actually make it into the pit lane. And if we need a green flag stop again later, then he could be in a bit of trouble. And as you say, he's got to be wary of the big run that he gets every single time, which could get very tiring. And he could make an error at some stage. But yeah. This is the way to do it in my mind. In a long race like this, I understand if it's a half distance series, maybe you're doing 100 laps, 80 laps at Daytona. Yeah, we'd be getting to the end of the race now, and it's not really long enough to do the whole hanging around at the back. But this is the full length Cup Challenge. You've got to be strong and concentrated for 3 hours at least, in some cases, and it's just senseless to me running in the middle of the pack. But this is the danger. You get some huge runs.
Huge checkup on the bottom of the racetrack, left the 83 having to go below the yellow line to be able to avoid an accident there. That bottom line just died off a cliff. That was a big checkup on the bottom. And that outside line is the big beneficiary from it. It is on a march to the front. Billy Berkeley is leading the line, and he's catching up to the back bumper of Patrick Gitter for the lead.
Wow, look at that. It just flicks a switch as you described it earlier, and it's such a perfect analogy for what happens here to this outside line. There to the low side, 44 going for the lead.
Billy Brickley to the bottom, trying to get the lead for the first time today. Billy Brickley in the 44 car.
He's going backwards though. He's going backwards. He shouldn't have dropped down low. That's not where the momentum is.
Oh, look out, we got a lap car here. Zosiak, he's pretty high up there. He's got to know he's going to be 3 wide. Contact the lapper. Goes around, collects multiple cars. On the second big one happening here. The 74 is locking it up. Look out. 28 of Matthew Long involved. And DeCiani. DeCiani involved in that accident as well.
That is huge for the regular season championship. If the 4 car is indeed involved, we'll see how much damage he's got and how he was involved in that in a few moments' time. But it was always going to happen. Zosiak is trying his best here to oh dear, and he's absolutely junked. Look at that. That car is ruined now, even more than it was earlier. He's doing his best to stay up high here, but they're going to go 3 wide, and it always happens like this. Just somebody missing the line just a little bit. They were a little bit higher than the rest, and then Zosiak, to be fair to him, sticks his own car in the wall to try not to get involved with everybody else, but unfortunately, it's already begun.
Let's ride on board with that, driver. I think that the 4 car may have escaped with minimal damage, but the 37 most certainly had a few more inches of room there on the top that he could have gone to try and maybe even a couple feet. I think there was. We're gonna have to take a look at this gap here, because you'll see it here on the top. Like, normally when you're running the top line, you are well above the black seam, above the dotted white line. He is right on the white line. So with that in mind, he probably could have had more room, but Chris Davis, hard outside wall contact, locks up the brakes, slides down the hill, collects the 28 of Matthew Long, and let's ride on board with the 4 car of Matt DeCiani. That's going to show us a lot.
Yeah, and it's going to show us how the challenger for this regular season championship has got himself involved in this crash here tonight on stage 2.
In the driver's seat if you can.
Yeah, this is again the danger of running in the mid-pack here, where DeCiani and Dyson, in fairness, have both ended themselves up here. You see that they've all done this quite nicely, braking, but yeah, a little bit of side-to-side contact, run through the grass.
That was brilliant to be able to avoid it. He got really lucky that 28 of Matthew Long was there. He was about to get absolutely killed on the front end, but 4 car was able to survive another day. I mean, that wreck was pretty sketchy, to say the least. And what I'm thinking about now is that we're starting to see some more pit stops. I see Dyson on pit road. This is going to be something that will probably hold him back from getting any stage points. But whenever it came to that wreck, I think he was actually someone that was right in the thick of it as well.
Yeah, he would have been. He was not far away from DeCiani, so he would have absolutely been around there. The top 19 all stay out on the racetrack, by the way. Certainly signalling their intent to go and finish in the top 10 and finish in the stage points at the end of the day. But there's Dyson. He is getting repairs, isn't he? This is a long stop.
Yeah, can we ride on board with Dyson through the wreck? I think he got a little bit... yeah, his right front is absolutely broken whenever he left the crash. He was involved in that one for sure. So that means our top 2 in contention here for the points it's going to be a big deal here. A little bit further, like less than 20 seconds back. Here we go. We're going to ride on board. Here's our current points leader.
Needing at the moment, just top 25 if DeCiani stays outside the stage points, but it's going to be a lot more difficult after this as it all stacks up on the bottom. It stacks up anyway down here. Look at that. They throw themselves to the inside, but he's not braking like the others. So in front on the low side, they were sort of all braking on the banking, and instead Dyson went for the throw it on the apron strategy, and he really hit someone hard on the low side there, which is giving him damage.
You also got to start thinking about the DQ limit. There is a limit of 17x for each car out on the racetrack. So that means you can get involved essentially in 4 car-to-car contacts that are heavy and 1 off track. That is it. So you can't do that all the time, but 4Xs can be ghost 4Xs, stuff that shouldn't be. It's kind of an interesting system, but it's the one that we got. And so with that in mind, you got to start getting worried if you are starting to get up to 8 or like even higher in terms of the 4Xs. it's going to be a big deal. I also saw the 83 Cameron Stone under caution a moment ago, right after the crash. Andrew Dyson and Cameron Stone made contact going into turn 3 that may have given him another 4X. So, I mean, I would be very concerned if I was the 41 car as we're doubling up now for the restart.
Yep, we are. So we're just a lap away from getting this race back underway again. The race now with 33 on the lead lap. Chris Davis involved in that crash, of course, we just saw in the stage 2. Is now a lap down. He's taking on some long repairs, as is Kevin Zosiak, who might indeed be out the race. Already out the race, Paul Hill, Bobby Anderson, Eddie Rose, Jacob Simpson, Jason Taylor. If they're not properly out, they are at least out of contention.
What a night so far, to say the least. A lot of accidents. We're only halfway. This is our halfway mark right here. I mean, I think that was a little odd, to say the least, that accident. So going to have a little bit of an implication for the top spots. We'll see if they're able to hang on to it. But at the front, new contender here. Remember the 88 of Thomas Kulmacheski. He's going to be restarting, second car on the bottom. He is in a must-win situation. If that 88 can win today, he is going to be in the playoffs. It would be a wild comeback for the 88, currently sitting 17th in points, just one spot out.
Yeah, it would. But that's exactly what this final race at Daytona is designed to bring over the 400 miles. It is always very exciting. So let's see how we go on the restart. Just 14 to go till the next stage break.
Back underway. Bottom line got the advantage that time. Billy Brickley on the outside trying to push Paul Gallimore. See if that continues to work out up front. Into turn number 1. Side by side for the lead, Gallimore and Gitter are even, but the bottom line has a little bit better setup there, better pushing from Galata in the 88 of Kulmacheski. We'll see if that pays off down the back.
Here we go, down the backstretch for the first time since that restart. Possibly the most even between the two. And maybe that has been brought on by the fact that this second stage is pretty close to conclusion, and everybody at the front has thought, well, we're so close now, we might as well fight for these stage points. And they certainly are on this restart.
Side by side from the lead all the way back to drivers running just outside of the top 20. Billy Brickley now leads the outside line, trying to make that outside line move. He's got Larry McDonald on the outside giving him pushes on the 44. And Dave Hoytsma follows him through. It's an interesting outside line here, to say the least, as they are 3 wide now. The 48 of Tyler Hunter makes it 3 wide to the middle.
My word, we are 3 wide, possibly for the first time, sort of intensely
Llewellyn in the wall. That 32 car, sorry to interrupt you there, the Llewellyn and Tanner Marty both got up into the outside wall and dropped like a rock. They are now side by side at the back of the field. You're free, that was just very close to a big wreck there.
No, that's all right. Top 23 are away then, and possibly sensible from those at the back. They don't want to be involved in all this. Dyson's involved in that group, by the way. Oh, no, he's just made the front group, so he'll be up there. But, yeah, there's plenty of drivers down the back who know now when the next caution's going to be, so they think, well, we can first save fuel, but most of all, stay out of trouble by not being anywhere near these guys racing for points.
That outside line just got new leaders right here. You got DeCiani. We saw him be a great pusher earlier in the run. Now he's on the back bumper, the 92 of Hoffman. He's going to get a little bit of a momentum push here from Brickley as well. That's going to help the outside line. And right now they're staying even, but more cars moving to the top. The 73 of Mesnard and Medeiros and the 20 go up to the top.
But look at the speed that you can get on the low side now to come and help momentum there. Hodgson fills that gap very quickly on the low side in the 12 car, and he brings a few more with him as well. So it does help momentum on the outside, but also the inside as well. Everybody moves up one. It's just about pushing now, and the low side starting to win this battle as we get 10 to go at the line.
Paul Gallimore leads the whole field right now, but that outside line being pushed by the 20 car. is being pulled by the 20 car, pushed by the 73 of Mesnard, trying to catch up to the front. Right now they're running side by side with Tyler Hunter in the 48 car, currently sitting in the 8th place spot. They have 8 more cars to go to get to the front.
Long way to go, and you'd imagine that Medeiros is not going to be the leader of the outside line when it happens either, because someone's going to move up and think that looks like a good idea, and they're going to move up to the outside as well. Of course, those runs are started to, or those alliances, sorry, on the low side are going to be starting to be broken as well when you get into the final 5 laps, and they will create their own outside lines as well, as we saw in stage 1.
Coming down to the end of this thing, who will win is someone in the top 5 going to make a move, and that outside line, once they do make a move, is going to go right up to them. Up front, Gallimore, Gitter is your top 2. Remember, Patrick Gitter, he won here in February. That's how he's in the playoffs. It's his only win all season. Daytona seems to be that 21's favorite race, it looks like, in terms of finishing order. We'll see if the 21's able to get his second win on the season in the same location.
You know, maybe a bit unfair to say that, you know, he's only strong around this circuit, because he's had some great points runs other than that. And as I mentioned earlier, he's the best placed of those on one win throughout the field, and 6th place overall in the regular season points. Can't really gain it. In fact, he can't get into the top 5 in regular season points, but he can at least keep 6th, which he's under fire from today. So that's what he'll be looking to do here at this race today. And doing that by getting a few stage points to his name if possible.
He's only run 1 super speedway race so far, it looks like, in his season this season, and he started 7th and he finished 1st back at Daytona. So with that in mind, there are always other speedways as well, like Atlanta still classifies as a speedway underneath the Sim Racer Hub, so that's not necessarily 100% accurate there. But what I can tell you is, looking here at Paul Gallimore, he's just got to hang on to it for 2 more laps when he crosses the stripe, and he will try and win that stage. But who's going to make the move on the outside? There's a lot of shuffling going on in the middle of the pack. 2 laps to go in the stage.
Sorry, but it'll be 7, won't it? At 95, lap 95.
Oh, I thought we said 90. Sorry, my bad. It's all good. Keeping it green. Keeping it going. 7.
Okay. Well, yeah, imagine how wild it's going to be in 5 laps, by the way, when there is 2 to go. That's the thing you've got to think about. As you can see at the back, this is the sort of shuffling, as you mentioned, further on back. When we get to those final 2 laps or so, it's going to be wild on the low side, but unfortunately that outside line is not going anywhere for the moment. But to use your analogy from earlier, Kurt, which I'm going to steal for the rest of the day, when is that switch going to be flicked and that outside suddenly become the place to be?
Hasn't happened yet, and it looks like the outside line is actually showing trending negatively. It's going backwards right now. It just can't seem to have the momentum it had earlier. This outside line just does not seem to be working really well together right now.
You just got to try and stall the momentum of that low side a little bit if possible. Again, stop losing places first, that's the first goal, and then start to try and gain them again with some good runs. And maybe, oh, now they've done it, they're certainly being more aggressive. You can see that with the way that they're moving around in the background of that outside line. And there's some gaps opening up on the low side as well. That's Delaney opening up in front of him. He's in the 6th car, of course. Didn't score any stage points in stage 1, needs to do so to get closer to Dyson, who is not in contention at the moment. I actually can't see where he is right now.
The 41's dropped back all the way right now, currently in 20th at the moment. So he's out of the top group here. But DeCiani is the 5th car on the outside line, so he is ahead at the moment, as that outside line is starting to gain a slight run here, a slight amount of momentum, very small, but it is working for him, trying to get pushed up towards the front.
Absolutely. Oh, a little bit loose again on the outside. And there's a small gap there, and you can see the way that this outside, the guys on the outside are invested in this, because there was definitely some gaps there for them to just tuck in, and they want this to work. They don't want to just, submit to the inside line here. And there's actually a few joining them now. Somebody just joined them. So this is going to start to happen. 4 to go. It's starting to bubble up here.
Outside line showing slight momentum heading into turn number 1 this particular time around. That 20 car trying to do everything he can to get on by the bottom car there of Rich Kleinman. Getting a push from his teammate Evan Mesnard on the top lane. But now take a look at the third lane. Here comes Derek Heitman in the 76. He's trying to make it 3 wide for position. Behind this, we got to get a camera on it. Here we go. Right here. 3 by 3 by 3 up here. DeCiani's in a bad spot.
Oh, this can't help. This can't help these guys, surely. If they're going 3 wide in the back, they're going to be falling back. And now if they see sense and they come back to 2 wide again, you can understand why some of those guys want to be aggressive further back, especially DeCiani, who needs to move up quick. But look at the momentum it's taken away from their line there.
I don't see very much momentum out of that top line, but the 76 is building up another run. Here he comes, 76, going to the top, 3 wide.
Oh, close again into 3. 76 though just about gets to that high side, coming into 3 and 4, and now look at the low side. It's breaking up as they're doing the same again, roaring through to the inside, or the outside, sorry, at the end of that lap. 2 to go, and now it properly begins.
Just like that, Patrick Gitter made a move, but down to the bottom, Delaney trying to make a move, but Galata blocks him off, barely makes contact there as they head through 1 and 2. And take a look at Nolan Hodson in the 12. He's on the top side trying to push Patrick Gitter as they head down the back straightaway. They're 3 wide back in the field, multiple cars all over the place, but right now this front pack still seems to be the bottom lane prevailing right now with Galata leading the way.
Delaney's going to have the same problem that DeCiani had in that previous stage where he got boxed in on the inside line. Unless that inside can get really something going on the last lap, Delaney's going to have no choice but to stay where he is and hope that not too many people pass him here.
We're on the final lap of the stage, I believe. Yes, we are. Lap 95 is what we're on right now. This is it. Who will it be? The outside line's got a little bit of momentum. Tyler Hunter's on the back bumper of Hodson, and Gitter is leading them both. Down the back straightaway.
Sorry, Kurt. Great push from Hodson there. That's why they're out front. Those 3, look at those 3 out front, and they look for the low side.
Hodson to the lead. What a move to get in front of the 21. But here comes Devin Medeiros on the outside, trying to make it 3 wide for the lead. Getting pushed by Evan Mesnard across the line. Here we go to the line. It looks like it's going to be Nolan Hodson getting the win as the 73's loose. Hang on to it. They're wrecking the 76 involved. In front of Dyson. Dyson's in it.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is always the danger. And again, I repeat what I've been saying all night. Those top guys fighting for the regular season championship. If you're not going to get any stage points, get out of there, because you know there's going to be a caution in a moment. You know, lose the draft, doesn't matter, forget about it. But you don't want to be involved in this.
The 73 he's a lot lower on the racetrack than he should be. Makes contact with the 21 and turns the 76 into the outside wall, collecting Neil Pearson and Andrew Dyson.
Did Dyson get much damage there, though? I think he
Not
just
very
locked
much.
it all up. Yeah, I think he just locked it all up and avoided it. But again, why is he even near this? I've got no idea. This is the view from the, as you say, 73 on the outside, just too close in. Oh, he has made a bit of contact with a couple of guys there, but it wasn't too bad.
I think he's going to be able to get that damage repaired, but still a scary moment for Dyson at the end of the stage. Let's run through the top finishers. Finishing in 10th in the stage, Thomas Kulmacheski. 9th, Derek Heitman, even though he wrecked afterwards, still got some stage points. Evan Mesnard got 8th. 7th for Paul Gallimore. Patrick Gitter gets 6th. 5th for Jonathan Delaney. Devin Medeiros gets 4th. 3rd for Joseph Galata. 2nd, Tyler Hunter. And Nolan Hodson is able to get stage 2 win as they all head down pit road. They get a set of tires and gas. They're taking a look at Bobby Anderson's broken car still sitting on pit road.
Oh dear, it's like a wounded animal there down on the pit lane, unfortunately, as they all pull in. Everybody in as well, by the way. Nobody's staying out on the racetrack, which is probably the right thing to do with just over 60 to go. One more stop required this afternoon before the end of the Soda Wars 400.
Just like that.
Dyson.
Dyson somehow came out of the pits in second place. We're going to have to take a look and see what caused that. We're going to be right back after a short break. And to start stage number 3 here on the Full Length Cup Challenge at Daytona for the Soda Wars 400. We'll be right back after this short break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Daytona here on Maconi Entertainment. A beautiful shot of this speedway. It is one of the best tracks in the world to be able to come and watch a motor race here for the Soda Wars 400 here tonight. And we are about to start our 3rd stage of the night. And we have some final numbers here for you. So it looks like that Dyson, who will be restarting in 3rd on this restart, in order to win the championship for the regular season, he must finish 25th or better. If he finishes 26th, he will tie, at which point then they'd have to go to a tiebreaker. Otherwise, 25th or better would lock him in as the regular season champ.
Yeah, and you say that I don't know what the tiebreaker is, but with 5 wins, surely you'd imagine he'll be okay with that. Either way, I don't think it will come down to that, unless he gets caught up in something massive here on this final stage. And you know, I'm not trying to jinx anything here. He should be the regular season champion and take those 15 playoff points that come with that as well.
And just to let everybody know, there are 31 cars still on the lead lap, with 2 cars only 1 lap down. So this is not over quite yet. A lot of things are able to happen. We're back underway to start stage 3. 62 laps to go here from Daytona for the Full Length Cup Challenge. Outside line's got a good push right now from Tyler Hunter. Galata's leading the line. Here comes DeCiani. He's the 3rd car in line on the top lane. Huge checkups on the back end of that outside line, but heading into turn 3, the outside line had slight momentum.
And just towards the end of the straight, though, the inside getting their act together. So Hodgson leading that line, getting a good push from Dyson. I think Gitter is on the inside there as well, pushing along. But the outside making a very good fist of this as they end the first lap under green in the final stage. Here's last week's winner who leads the lap.
Tyler Hunter goes down to the bottom, and he goes with Galata. That is now the top 2, as DeCiani now leads the top lane. DeCiani would need to win the race in order for Dyson to be able for that 25th place to really matter, 26th to really matter. DeCiani would have to win the race. So with that in mind, he's in a position where he can definitely do it if he's able to get up towards the front.
They're just getting themselves into single file at the front here, trying to get organised, but look at the outside come again. It's a big, big run for Matt DeCiani.
At the line, it looks like it will be DeCiani leading that lap. And that 4 car is now going to get into a position where he's going to try his best to clear the bottom lane. And if he's able to do so and ride around on the bottom, that could get him in a position where he could possibly win his... Remember, this is a driver who has not won yet this season, but he is in a position getting pushed by Brandon Hastings. Brandon Hastings is one of the best super speedway pushers I've seen here in a while. He goes down to the bottom. He leaves the 4 car to dry on the top line. Hastings to the lead on the bottom, but the 80 car is going to try and help DeCiani out on the top line.
Oh, dear me, and off of 4 there. That looked a bit loose for 81, but DeCiani's going to be pushed back to the lead. He's going to lead another lap here. What a push from McDonald, who we've not seen all night, I don't think. Certainly not at the front. He qualified and started 33rd. Now he's going to be abandoned on the top line after that push to the lead.
The 80 car now has Billy Brickley in the 44 on his tail, trying to push him back up towards the front. And I don't think that would be impossible right now. I think we're seeing a lot of fuel saving up at the front.
And maybe seems a little bit of that going on. Because,
yeah, a lot of communications on the radio.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we are going to have to see stops, aren't we, with over 60 laps to go when they last pitted. Yeah, they're going to have to make green flag stops. And I, for one, am hoping that it is going to be under green, but let's wait and see.
You know, DeCiani, oh golly, the outside line there. Brickley almost got McDonald very loose there. Momentum on the top side has just died for a quick moment as they drop back now side by side for 5th. What I can tell you right now is the #1 fan of that 4 car, DeCiani, right now, is going to be Sean O'Brien Jr. Sean O'Brien Jr. would desperately love to see Matt DeCiani win this race because that locks him into the playoffs as well. It's a win-win for him.
Yeah, exactly the situation for Sean O'Brien Jr. As you can see there, he is making it through on points at the moment, but he's the only driver on points who's not secure. Not because Kumasevsky might gain 104 points, that's not possible, but he might well see one of those must-win drivers win and get themselves locked in next week to the first round of the playoffs at Southern 500. The best way O'Brien could do that is winning himself, but at the moment he's running mid-pack and doesn't look like he's got the car to do that tonight.
You know, there's a driver that we haven't actually talked about all night tonight other than through the driver introductions, and I wanted to call him out here. Stephen Williams, 98 car on the outside line, currently running 20th at the tail end. He's the caboose of the outside line right now. He's in a position where he's just riding around, I think, based off of his driving language, what I'm seeing here from the car language. It just seems like he's just in a position where he's not trying to gain too much, but he's just trying to make it his way to the end. I'm not sure if he's going to try anything to get up towards the front later in the race. I'm sure he has to try and make the playoffs, but he's one of those that has to be a win and you're in situation. He started 30th, he's up to 19th, and he's just trying to maintain position for now, but I'm sure we might see him up towards the front towards the end of this thing. As they have checked. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, you've got to give it a go, haven't you? If you're in this must-win situation, you've got to at least try. And you know, even if you're not in that situation, to be honest, you know, might as well try and win the race. That's what we're all here for. So, yeah, we're surely going to see that car up towards the front before the finish.
Now, this is actually the highest up we've seen Brandon Hastings up towards the front in the full-length Cup Challenge on the Cup side of things for a while. But yesterday, coming to the final corner in the Xfinity Series race here, he was sitting on the bottom lane, pushing in the same position he is right now, pushing the leader. And the leader got a little loose, and they went around, and he was unable to get the win yesterday. That went to Lars Chenoweth, I believe is the name. But that 81 car... he's in a position where he wants to redeem himself. He's in a good spot to be able to do so. He's just going to keep pushing this 4 car until somebody on the outside probably gets a run, and we'll see how long he stays on the bottom pushing, because I do think that 81's really good at being a pusher right now.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen that with DeCiani and some of the others, actually, especially on this run towards the end. But we'll see how long it lasts. We've got danger. Lap car on the high side. This caused trouble last time. We've had trouble through the tribal before, and there's a big difference in speed. Now, make sure, oh, it's into turn 1 again. Careful, everybody, breathe in. Thankfully, that outside line is not quite as numerous as it was earlier and will survive.
Matthew Long, driver of the Diet Coke machine there that we just saw go by, up out of the groove. Exactly the right thing to do there. Getting a push right there. 44 Billy Brickley trying to push the 80 car, still trying to make that outside line work. Got a ways to go to make it go forward though. I see a Gigabyte and AMD paint scheme from the 80. I do not see any sodas on there with them, neither from the 44. So it's just some choose to play along and do it. The same thing with the Cup Series. You'll see sometimes not everybody does a throwback scheme. So it's same thing here. But outside line, they could just be in a position where they're trying to save gas and maintain position right now.
Yeah, they could be. Again, we're expecting a pit stop in this final stage of the race. We haven't seen green flag pit stops from everybody yet today. A number of drivers in the first stage just out of trouble, like Delaney. Number 6, you're focusing on here. They pitted in the first stage to stay out of trouble. But after the big one, they started to move themselves towards the front in stage 2. And Delaney got himself some points, which has got him a bit closer to Dyson in the regular season championship. But with the 41 running in 6th place at the moment, none of them have got any hope of winning it. Even DiCiani, who's leading this race right now.
$52 laps to go here from Daytona for the full-length Cup Challenge. Up front, that 80 car has been slowly losing ground on the outside line, now side by side with Devin Medeiros there for just outside the top 10. Just inside the top 10, I should rather say. Kumacheski, you see him on the back of that caboose now. He was running up towards the front on that a couple restarts ago, but looks like he's just fallen back. Something must have happened to the 88 to where he just made a couple moves that sent him back. But the 80 car now is getting a run out of nowhere for this outside line.
Getting a nice push on that outside line, and the switch has been flicked again. Over the line, it's getting close. So 80 car just side drafting alongside 48. Now moves away, tries to anyway on the outside. Now you can see a little bit of movement. There's a lot of movement actually. He tries to get to the rear quarter of 99, but can't quite do it. DiCiani just moves himself off the double yellow just a little bit there, and gets back on it now as he's continuing to hold firm on the inside. We're not yet seeing anybody from the front of the race. They try and control both lines at once. I wonder whether DiCiani is going to start that trend now by just moving to the outside if he feels they're getting a run on him.
Side by side now is for the 5th place spot. The 88 has gotten up all the way back up. Sorry, the 80 car has gotten up to the 5th place spot, side by side with our stage 2 winner Nolan Hodgson there on the bottom. And he's trying to catch up to the outside of Galata. They're running, Tyler Hunter running there in the, yes, it was Galata. Tyler Hunter now, then Galata. There we go. He's up to 3rd now. This outside line's got momentum now.
Yeah, and here he goes again on the backstretch, just getting close to them. They're trying to hold them back on the inside as much as possible. It's dead even, really. 48 got a big shove there as well on the way towards turn 3. 50 to go at the lap they're currently on. 49 when they get to the line here. This is looking good for these guys on the outside. They're at least holding their own, but starting to go backwards a little bit now.
Yeah, that side drafting was really helping them move forward. I've noticed that, but when they went into the corner, we saw the 99 of Galata and the 48 both take a wider entry that shoved the outside line a little higher out of the groove, and that broke up the side draft. So that's what made them drop all the way back now outside the top 10.
We've just got to regain that momentum all over again here, but it's very difficult to do that, especially, and you feel when you're going backwards like this, like it's never going to happen as you're just going backwards again and again and again. But that's what it's like. He's just struggling to get this one really going right now in number 80. And of course they've got to start thinking maybe a little bit about that fuel stop as well. They're getting towards the stage in the race now where they might be able to make that fuel stop and make it to the end of the race as well. That will be coming in the next 10 laps or so. And if you're on the outside, you're obviously not going to be able to come into the pit lane. So that might be a factor in their thinking as well. That was close into one.
That was nearly contact there with the 80. from the bottom lane up, drifting up there a little bit. But that top lane is really actually fallen now farther back than we've seen it all this entire run here. Now even out with Medeiros. Again, this is for right now the 11th and 10th place spots. But the outside line, looks like Billy Brickley has not been pushing as hard as we've seen earlier. As now they're 3 wide back here. One car had to take an evasive maneuver. That's Hunter Truel in the 71. He knows he has to win today. He cannot be making crazy moves to be able to get to the front. He has to do it smart, collectively, and that's what he's been doing since the beginning.
Yeah, I'm very much enjoying his strategy so far of just staying out of trouble. You do get at this stage in the race when there's so many still on the lead lap. I always see this with guys who try to employ that strategy of staying at the back early. See it in the real life Daytona 500 sometimes. At 31 on the lead lap right now, you see on the top of your screen 47 to go. You start to think, hang on a minute, maybe this big crash isn't going to happen. But you've just got to have the faith that every single time at Super Speedway races it does, or something similar. And so you've got to keep that faith and not get yourself involved too much. So far, Truel's done a very good job of that, but he is starting to get himself involved now and racing with the rest of the pack. He's in the sort of danger zone right there in the middle.
I see a new pack forming here, but there goes Gitter out to the top lane. Patrick Gitter is going to try and lead the outside line. That's going to help this entire outside group. Heading up through the field, also a little further back, they're going to be catching up as well. That outside line is going to be getting a longer caboose. I think that outside line, the switch has flicked. I think we are now moving forward.
We are, and again, we are going to be going into the lead very soon. And again, it matters who is where as well. Not least the side drafters you've been mentioning and all that kind of thing, but also who is being pushed, who's doing the pushing. Gitter with a great run off for 4 and may even lead this lap. It's going to be close at the line with DiCiani. They're absolutely neck and neck over the start-finish line.
Patrick Gitter is going to retake the lead. And with that, the 80 car McDonald's going to try and make that outside line work as well. DiCiani is going to give a shot to the back bumper of Patrick Gitter, as that outside line now is just in a position where it might even out. I think McDonald's is one heck of a pusher. He was able to push the 21 up to the front. That 80 car just has got a bumper that, like, I think any driver wants to get on the front of. I think that makes sense, but right now he's leading the line. Setup might not be set up exactly for that, so we'll see if he's able to make any use of it, but it looks like he's fading slightly.
Yeah, it does. He's just fading now. And again, momentum's so key in this battle between top and bottom line. And you can see with DiCiani, it looks like he's got a very good pushing car as well, I must say. With Hastings there, another good, relatively good pushing car. Yeah, that inside line now, the way they've got it going on is looking very good. Gitter leading with DiCiani, then Hastings. That is 3 drivers who are going to be very difficult to pass when they're on the bottom together.
I saw the 81 of Brandon Hastings make a peek up to the outside line for a second earlier from 3rd place, but right now we're going to zoom in a little bit, take a look right there. That 71 has just cracked the top 10 for the first time tonight for Hunter Truel. So with that in mind, he's made his march to the front with 43 laps to go.
It's the time to get to the front, if there is one at all, as we get towards the last 100 miles here at Daytona. Again, the momentum from the bottom side going nowhere, Hastings especially, and McDonald pulls in car 80, so I'm not sure whether Hastings actually made that room for him intentionally, or whether it just appeared, that gap, but yeah, he's managed to get in there as car 80, and now look at the outside. Goodness me, they're going backwards quick.
Billy Brickley, Hunter Truel, Dave Hoitzma, and Thomas Kumacheski are the cars all up on the top. Not for long. We have that 48 of Tyler Hunter looking high. All these guys have really been trying to look a little higher on the racetrack. Remember, we're still waiting for a pit stop here. If we can take a look at the stints, I think we'll be able to tell you exactly right around when we might expect to start seeing cars head down. Probably within the next 15 to 20 laps, we'll start seeing more cars head down, I believe. It could happen a little sooner. They can make it to the end here in about 3 or 4 laps, maybe less. So the window is technically open if you super save. So anytime from now through the next 15 laps, I'd say folks might come down to pit road.
Yeah, I think so. And that's and I think that's really going to kick off around lap 30. That will be sort of the halfway stage of this final stage of the race. If we're going to see green flag pit stops, then you want to try and even that out over the course of 30 laps. A big move for the lead. Kidder initially leads, but it's going to be Gallotta at the line with the side draft, and he's going to be followed here as well, slipping through the gap. Hunter on the low side.
Just like that, things can change. Once Gallotta made a move to the top, Patrick Gitter went with him, Nolan Hodgson went with him, and that brings Billy Brickley, Truel, and Dave Hoytsma back up towards the front as they head out onto the back straightaway. Gallotta still has that inside line working, but Patrick Gitter and Nolan Hodgson on the outside is going to have the momentum down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Will Gitter go down? He sure will, leaving the 12 car up on the outside line.
Wow, there was some loose race cars on the way towards turn 3 there, by the way, just under the strain of the draft and the pushing that was going on there, but the outside still got something about it at the moment. Good run for Hodgson as he's absolutely nose to nose with Gitter over the line. Very close between the two at the end of that lap. 300 miles down, 100 miles to go at Daytona.
That 44 car is doing a great job pushing the 12, but we'll see how long that can last. We saw it earlier. He couldn't do it for very long. Now Patrick Gitter goes up to the top lane to try and help Nolan Hodgson. That was a definitive move. He didn't have to do that, but he chose to go with the outside line. He's going to help the 12 car get down, and he's not going to let... 44 forced his way in there. Well, what a way to get up to the front. That's a smart move by the 44 to try and get in there.
Well, it was smart, but high risk, very high risk, and very nearly got spun across the nose of 99, so that was dangerous, but they just about got away with it. It leads ahead of Hodgson, Brickley, Gallotta, and Hunter, who round out the top 5, and then the outside line, which is going to have to completely remake itself because it's been completely disintegrated effectively by the last few laps.
I think the 99 was not happy with the 44 finding a hole there and getting in. He pushed him pretty hard through the center of the corner, and that got him a little loose, and he's getting another run here. I think he's trying to get the 44 loosened up out of the groove. I don't think he wants that car there, at least not for the way that his car's body language is looking. It looks angry. That's the best way to put it.
But, you know, I mean, easy to say this as we're sat here, you know, all cool and calm and just enjoying ourselves watching. But, I mean, if he does this too much, he spins the 44, he's going to be the first one involved in the accident. So I don't really see the logic of that.
Absolutely. I don't either. Well, we'll see. I think that he's calmed down a little bit here, but that 44 did exactly what he needed to do to get there, and he's looking below the 12 for a second there. You really don't want to give a lane up on the bottom, because if you get a nose in there, it's fair game. So always try to keep that gap between you and the yellow line as small as possible. But that outside line has disintegrated and vanished from existence. Now the bottom lane has all the momentum, and also huge checkups in the back of the field. Almost people getting run over. They are getting run over. Contact. That's going to bring out the yellow. It is Daniel Llewellyn. Bryson Hicksonball brought out that caution there for the 32. Heavy contact there.
And there's the danger of running at the back. I've been advocating for it all day, but this is again why people don't like running it. You just continue to be surprised by the runs that you get. I mean, there's nobody near 32 at this as we join him, but look at that. Super big run, and now he just locks it all up, trying to stop himself from running into somebody. And yeah, a few drivers run into the side of him, and it brings out a caution that is going to allow drivers to pit for the final time tonight.
The 76 also got DQ'd from that incident. That's why he vanished on the screen. So that's the first DQ of the night on lap 123. The 76, Derek Heitman, will not be finishing this race, but Llewellyn, heavy damage. He's going to be on pit road for a while getting that repaired. This also removes the opportunity for green flag pit stops for the rest of the run.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed about that, I must say. Another 10 laps or so, and we would have seen people coming in and whatever. And it's always more interesting when we get green flag pit stops, and it's why I don't love stage racing, I must admit. But anyway, it's it's not stage racing that's the problem. It's the caution after the stage that's the problem. But anyway, that's for another day, because the most crucial pit stops of the race are about to happen.
Here we go. Money stop. Let's see what they're going to do. Patrick Gitter's going to lead them down. Every driver should be coming down pit road right here, and you got to be quick. You really do. Dyson hits his pit stall. There goes a few other cars. Everybody's going to be heading in. And let's see what Patrick Gitter does. He gets into his box right on the mark. Same thing with the 12 and Nolan Hodgson. takes 2 left side tires for the 21 car, 2 left sides. And he's going to get back going underway again. And it looks like that he will probably win the race off pit road by a long margin to DeCiani, who will take second, and Dyson will take third.
Yeah, those guys not taking 4 tyres, whereas some of the others will have done a bit further back. So that's been a big advantage there, and especially for Dyson to move right through the field. I mean, Brickley was running up towards the front in 44. He took 4 tyres there, it's down to 11th.
The only benefit you'll see from that is the cars will be able to make more maneuvers to be able to get through the field. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. 36 laps to go here from Daytona, here on the Full Length Cup Challenge for Maconi Entertainment. We'll be right back after these short messages to the Soda Wars 400.
You want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to the Soda Wars 400 here from Daytona on Maconi Entertainment. We are going to get the green flag with 34 laps to go in tonight's event. And on the pole, that Patrick Gitter right there, sitting in a good position for this restart. And on the outside, you got DeCiani, who is in a must-win situation in order to win the regular season championship, but he has to have some luck with it too. That 41 restarting third on the bottom line needs to have a problem for him to help, for him to be able to do that. So we're gonna have the pace car dive down in the pit road, and we're gonna go 34 laps to go when they cross the stripe. We're back underway. Just like that, they had some orchestration going on up front to get the 21 and the 4 nose to tail on the bottom of the racetrack as everybody else is double file throughout the field. This is go time. This is when you need to start making your way to the front. You're going to start seeing a lot more aggressive moves throughout the field, and this is where it gets a little hairy, so hang on. Nolan Hodgson being pushed by Brandon Hastings in the 81 on the outside line right now. Falling back, not sticking with the inside line very well at all, as Joseph Galata tries to make a move up to get in front of the line.
Oh, he very nearly got to sort of suck through the middle there, and he could have gone right to the back of the field if that was the case, if he got almost through the black hole, but he fortunately got a little bit of help there, or caught a bit of a break there by Hodgson, who maybe realised that pushing Gallotta might not be the worst idea in the world.
Car on the wall on the exit of turn number 2. It is Williams. He got pushed up there by Delaney, and he has got the car back underway and is still going to probably keep up with the draft. He's just got a little bit of right side damage, but up front it is still Gitter, DeCiani, and Dyson. 2 cars up at the front. Polar different seasons here for all 3 of the top 3. 1 win season for Gitter, 5 win season for Dyson, and DeCiani has yet to win yet this year.
Going nowhere, Gallotta now. All of a sudden got really loose through 3 and 4, and you know, the harder Hodgson pushes, the slower Gallotta goes, it seems. This outside line has gone right to the back. 6-7 or so on the inside now, having slipped through.
I think that what we saw most of the races, the bottom line was lifting, saving gas, but now knowing that they can make it to the end, they're full bore. They're not going to be saving gas anymore. So with that in mind, that outside line is going to need a lot better pushing to be able to make it even with the inside line. We've been seeing that races constantly in the A-Class series. It's just that bottom lane gets dominant towards the end of these things. Billy Brickley trying to lead the outside line, but going the wrong direction.
Yeah. Saw Brickley lose a lot of track position with that pit stop, taking 4 tyres, but I actually quite like the 4 tyre call. Could give you an advantage a bit later on, even if it does take the track position away. As you say, it is important here, counterintuitively, at Daytona, but even so, I think late on, when we get to the end of a 40-lap run, which is effectively what this is going to be, to the end here, 35-lap run, that 4 tyre call may well pay off. This is Delaney running outside the top 20, biding his time back here.
I just now noticed in the top 5 there are 2 drivers that are a part of the must-win club. Thomas Kulmacheski is not one of them, sorry. It's actually the 71 of Hunter Truex is the driver there. Hunter Truex, and also the 29 of Tanner Marty. They are 4th and 5th right now.
Yeah, and you'd be nervous if you were O'Brien at the moment. He is the last driver making it through on points, but if a driver comes through and wins from here, then he will be out of the playoffs next week, and he will be, well, yeah, just, I guess, racing each individual race as it comes, and not in the round of 16. So, yeah, that's going to be dangerous. And O'Brien still hasn't moved his way up towards the front, but again, don't mind that strategy at all. You imagine there's going to be one more big one before the end of this race, the way they're going to be racing, especially in the final 10 laps or so.
Gallotta has just been falling back since the restart. I see Coffey on the outside line now. That's a driver we haven't talked about much tonight. Alex Coffey now being pushed by Joseph Gallotta on the outside line. Here comes Cameron Stone to the top. Here comes Adam Benefield to the top. I think that the switch just happened a few seconds ago, and we'll see if it actually gains any momentum. Benefield, remember, he was...
Whoa, sorry, that was really close. The 54 there very nearly turned the car in front and very nearly caused the big crash, but it's okay on the outside. They are getting organised, as you say.
That in mind, you got to be careful. Tanner Marty goes up to there. He spun himself. He gets in front of the field, collects multiple cars. Around goes Kulmacheski, more cars. The 40, Dyson's in it. No, that's not Dyson, that's Hunter. Tyler Hunter's involved. They have very similar looking race cars. A lot of vehicles involved in that one, though, and that will bring out yet another caution.
Lotta's in it. You can see in there. Oh dear, that wasn't a good idea. He's gone straight up the hill and very nearly got stuck. He very nearly got beached on the low side there if he just slid down the racetrack. But yeah, it was always going to happen, and it's unfortunate that it's one of those must-win cars that been involved in it, and one of the causes of it. Tanner Marty, you have to give it everything when you're in a must-win situation, but this is the end of the road for Tanner Marty's championship in 2025.
That 29 car, you can see it here. If we go on board, you'll see he goes up high, turns back down low, car gets loose on its own, and it causes a huge accident. A lot of cars involved
Is that Williams, or have I misidentified? Is that Sean Williams, also another must-win driver in the...
Yes, Williams is, well, also it was the 88 of Kulmacheski, I believe, that was involved in that one. I'm not sure about Williams. It looks like Williams may have been involved in that one as well. I'll get you fully answered here in a second. Nope, Williams got the car stopped before getting to the accident, so Williams still has a fresh car.
I misidentified a green car. Someone else thought, oh, Alex Murray had no choice there but to get involved in the crash. Got hit from behind, and another one who very nearly got beached on the apron as well. I think you might be right about Kumacheski as well, who's certainly dropped to the back of the field. So that's a couple of must-win drivers involved in that one. And dear me, look at the 20 car there, ruined.
Medeiros had nowhere else to go. He just got squeezed up against the wall. And that will do the end of the 20 cars championship run. He tried everything he could, but just wrong spot, wrong time. Tyler Hunter also heavy right front damage here. Let's right on board with him. He tried to miss it. He got on the brakes early, and the 81 slid up into him and sent him up into the outside wall. The 81 I've seen most of the night has not been getting on the brakes whenever these accidents happen. But then again, he got on them quick, but the car got sideways on the apron this particular time. So it's just a racing incident trying to avoid an accident. But chaos typically happens here at Daytona, to say the least.
And so the must-win situation now comes down to Hunter Truex. He's the only driver now, I think, who can realistically win from here, unless you think some of the damaged drivers are going to get back out and compete here. Stephen Williams came into the pit lane last time round. He's back out again, at least, so he's still in the race. Kumacheski is getting repairs, and that's going to take a while. Marty, of course, as well, already a lap down, so that'll be the end for him. Medeiros 2 down. Neil Pearson retired earlier, so he's out of it. So I think it is just I think it's just Hunter Truex. There he is, 71. I think that's it.
I'm not sure if he's going to be in a position that makes him feel any better, though. He's in a position now where he's going to have to restart in 4th place on the outside, the second car on the outside line. And from what we've seen on these restarts, that outside line just does not carry very much speed unless the leader chooses to go to the outside line and stays up there. So with that in mind, the 71, if he's able to win tonight's race, he's in. He's going for that championship. And I'd say his year's been up and down, but if he's able to do it, I mean, that would be something that would save his whole season. This format creates moments like this where you can be in his position and still end up getting into the playoffs. It's going to be exciting to see if he's able to pull it off here tonight.
Yeah, and for all the flaws of the win and you're in format, you're right, it does create situations like this in terms of the late race victories. There it is, the championship standings coming into tonight. The reason that Sean O'Brien not locked in points, despite being 104 points above the cut line, is because Hunter Truex still has a chance. He's not even in the top 20, but as long as you're in the top 25, you can see that small note there, you've got to do 12 races and you've got to be in the top 25 in points. And Hunter Truex in the start of the day is 25th. So if he wins, obviously it's not going to drop out of there, and he has to win. So this is a perfect situation. None of the other must-win drivers are around him anymore. It's him on his own. Sean O'Brien's there or thereabouts, going to try and stop him, of course. And there's plenty of other drivers who are going to try and win this race in isolation. But Truex has done a perfect race up until this point. He's ridden round the back, not get involved in any of the crashes so far. Now is the moment to strike. Now is the moment to get up front. There's 25 to go on this restart. There's no point leading any laps until this stage. Now you've got to be at the front. And same for Sean O'Brien. He's driven this race very well as well. He's now in contention for a good finish too, because he's conserved his car and stayed out of trouble so well tonight so far.
We are going to be commercial free from here to the end of the race. 25 laps to go when we get the restart. Pace car is going to dive down into the pit road. Here we go. The final, hopefully is the final restart. We'll see if that happens this way. We're back underway. 25 laps to go here from Daytona.
And Gidder with a very good restart for Truex there, who get abandoned, immediately abandoned there. So he's going to go backwards. Wow, they all leave him, and he's going to be going backwards quickly now.
Nobody wants to help 71. There's Delaney. He's falling back to. Will Delaney try and give him a shot? No, Delaney puts him in the middle, 3 wide.
Black hole. He's going to go straight through the middle here. He'll be right down the back. Even 54 couldn't help him there. He's tucked back in. He wants the outside, but it's going to be sucked through the black hole. There is 71. Now he can get in. There's a small gap there. He's in the middle of the outside line now at least.
The entirety of the top 7 did not want to help that 71 at all. That was obvious based off of their driving there. That is surprising that happened. I mean, it was something that was active. You can't avoid doing that. It was 100% a choice by everybody in the top 10. Back up to the front. Here we go. 54 of Alex Coffey has not been in the top 10 all day, but Jonathan Delaney is pushing that 54. He's cracked the top 5, and now he's moving in to 4th place right now.
Yep, 4th place. Stone on the inside there in 57. Who's been up and down a little bit yo-yo today, but running well now when it matters. Delaney giving a big push here again. You can get this outside to work. We've seen it tonight, but you've got to have a good pusher and you've got to have a good car out front as well.
That outside line's got the momentum. He's catching up even further. Even more as they head into turn number 1 and 2. They're using some side draft. Patrick Gitter's actually giving the outside line some help, going up a little higher out of the groove from the bottom. Coffey's now up to nearly side by side for 3rd. He's going to get a big push from the rest of the cars on the outside line. Single file up there. And now Coffey is going to be trying to catch up to the left rear quarter panel of 2nd place.
Yeah, oh, look at the movement in the 3 and 4 there as they're all getting a little bit loose. They're all trying just that extra 1% harder now at this stage in the race. Just as momentum comes to that outside line, the inside responds and they go backwards again. Delaney not giving up though on that outside line, pushing Coffey.
Into turn number 1 again. This is on 22 laps to go as they head through turns 1 and 2. Delaney knows he's got to get up there. He's got to push somehow and get up to the front. But his car's probably burning up right now. He has to lift to be able to get some air to that radiator. And that's how he's probably losing some more and more ground. Had a lot of cars go below the yellow there for a second. They came back up the racetrack. I mean, this top 3 is exactly what you'd expect. The last time we were at Daytona, the winner was Patrick Gitter. All season, DeCiani has been the picture of consistency at the front, running 2nd. And Dyson has won 5 races this season and all of the road courses, and he is sitting in 3rd. These guys, I think, are just like where you'd expect to see them here at the end of this one.
Yeah. They are the cream rises to the top at the end of these races, that is for sure, at Daytona. Everyone says that it's a lottery and so on, but there's a way of doing it. There's a way of getting yourself towards the front, and these guys do it time after time in these super speedway races, of which, of course, we still have 1 more to go before the season's finished at Talladega. The round of 8 throughout the playoffs. That's going to be a super high-intensity, high-pressure race for all of those 8 drivers who make it to that stage of this competition.
That outside line's really kind of stalled, but he's getting a little bit of a run right now. That outside line's inching forward ever so slightly. And now he's got to start thinking side draft right here. Yep, exactly what he's doing now. He got down on the side of the 41, slowed him down. That's going to create a gap from 2nd to 3rd. And that's going to allow that outside line to get a little bit of a push here. They're almost 3 wide back there in the pack with the 71 car looking high for a quick moment. But Coffey with a big run here. He's going to go, and the 21 goes up to the top the top line.
And I'm not sure that was intentional. I think he got a little bit loose when DeCiani pushed him. But Gitter's going to get the lead back again off of 4. Look at the run.
How is that? I mean, I am just surprised. Oh my golly, hang on to it, Patrick Gitter. Nobody's wanting to go down to the bottom. Everybody wants to stay up top. Patrick Gitter's just going to stay on the top line. The bottom line, for the first time all night, is now technically not the preferred lane.
But that's only going to last until someone decides to turn down the inside. You can already see some guys posturing to try and do that. Hutchison had a little bit of a look there. And now the inside line's going to just regather itself. And look at them coming again into 3.
if you're able to get a line like this on the outside line, it can be faster than the bottom. We've seen it in practice. And I can tell you what, this is actually rare to see in a race with the next gens. It's so hard to get an outside line like this to work, other than on a restart. This is during a race and everybody goes down and they leave Gitter out to dry. Coffee to the lead.
Expecting that. He should have been expecting that. You know, I said it a lap ago. Somebody's going to turn down there and they're all going to follow, because the inside, as you say, is the place to be. Gitter could not afford to let that happen to himself, and unfortunately he's going to get buried now in the pack if he's not careful.
Look who's pushing him right now. It's that 71. We were talking about it. He's back. He's now the second car in line. Is he going to be able to push Gitter as they're 3 wide in the back of the pack, sideways hanging on to the race car? 4 wide for a position there.
Oh my word, this run through the middle is massive. Massive, and they're trying to be blocked off by DiCiani, who wants to follow them. He's going to get a bit, sorry, that is the 4 car on the middle line now. This is really dangerous. 3 wide moment. How long can this last?
This is beautiful. I love it. Let's see Kumacheski. Remember, he's one of those drivers that's in a must-win situation. The 71 has been cycled out with Patrick Gitter, both cycled out. We are just, I mean, this is amazing. 17 and a half laps to go here. And with that in mind, that outside line's getting redeveloped with a whole entire new cast of characters. DiCiani now, Kumacheski, Galata. Where did these guys come from?
They are coming back to the front.
Oh, contact the 73 of Mesnard. Hard in the outside wall. Collects 2 cars. A 7 of Alex Murray involved. Caution's going to come out, and we're going to have another restart.
Yeah, 16 to go going on to this lap, so it'll be about 12 to go when we restart, and my goodness, that's going to be a lively one, isn't it? But the fact we got away there without too many cars getting involved in that one is good news for the race, and a bit of a miracle, really. It was bound to happen in these 3 wide moments. This is Murray we're following in the 7 car. The big stack up. Oh, the 73 is hard into the wall there. He's got the most damage.
One of my favorite quotes I've ever heard just came across the radio, which was, if you can't run 3 wide, just sell your rig. That was a quote from McDonald's. Hard outside contact there. But 2-car, 3-car incident there with a little bit of damage to the 21 of Gitter. But, I mean, he was in a position there. He's just trying to hang on and catch back up to the field.
Yeah. I mean, Gitter completely dumps him, doesn't he, really? Let's be honest.
Oh my god, I didn't see that part. Yeah, he just went for a hole that didn't exist and he caused that accident after. And I don't want to call him out, but I didn't like that.
I mean, is McDonough with that radio, is he referencing that incident there, or is he referencing something earlier on? Because surely he can't be blaming 73 for not being able to run 3 wide there. I don't think that was what it was. I don't know why the 80 said it immediately after the caution. I'm not sure exactly what he could have been referencing there, but yeah, with what happened on our screen, oh boy, that is, I don't necessarily like looking at it. That's to say the least. As we get 15 laps to go here, we're gonna stay caution free right now. You know, take a look at who's in 3rd right now. Sean O'Brien Jr. has made his way to the front. Mr. Where did he come from? I am stunned to see that car up here. You know what? I think we could talk to him for a minute. Let me see if I can't find him here and see if we can't bring him up here to chat for a minute. Yeah, here we go.
John O'Brien Jr. is Kirk Mills in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Big Kirk, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. It sounds like you're pretty much trying to go for a win here, but either way, as long as somebody new doesn't win, you're going to be in the playoffs. Tell me, what's your game plan here for the final 15?
Well, we've kind of realized, you know, my situation. I'm kind of on an island. You know, I can't catch anybody on points in front of me. Nobody can catch me on points behind me, so kind of on my own island. So we decided, you know, the best defense is good offense, so we're going after it. We're after it.
That's awesome, man. We're going to be excited to watch you do it. Is there anybody you want to shout out before you get back going on the racetrack?
Ralph, John, Lucas, everyone else who's been working with us, been carrying me. I tried throwing this race away in the first stage, but we rebounded. Now we're here. Time to finally win one of these.
All right, man. I love the confidence. Wish you the best of luck there, Sean.
Thanks, Kirk.
If you got it. That was Sean O'Brien Jr. He's in a position that he likes a lot. His nearest competitor that is in a must-win situation is the 88 of Thomas Kulmacheski, currently sitting in the 8th place spot. I think it'd be cool to actually talk to him for a second, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring him up too. Hang on, here we go. Thomas Kulmacheski, Kirk Mills in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do, sir.
Sorry to interrupt your sitting there. Just wanted to run by you, man. You're in 8th place. You have to be a win and you're in type of situation here. Is there anything you got on your game plan in the next 14 laps to try and win this thing?
I just need to survive. Just what I've been trying to do all race, just put my car in a good spot to get up front.
All right, man. I got to ask you, is there anybody you want to shout out or anything before this restart?
Yeah, like TWRS and BMP, my teammates Paul Gallimore and Chris Davis for helping me today. Even though I'm down 1, but it's all right.
Well, we wish you the best of luck getting up there. If you win this race, you're in it. Best of luck to you, Thomas.
Thank you.
You got it. Thomas Kulmacheski brought him in a little prematurely there. Glad that he held his tongue a little bit really well, so that was good. But
Yeah, he did. It was close.
you went. It was like a thread, very close. But you wouldn't tell me. We're on the back stretch, final lap before we go back green. What are you thinking?
I'm not even going to begin to predict who's going to win this race because that would be pointless. I think one thing I will predict, though, is that this won't be the last restart. I hope that it is because I like a slightly longer green flag run to the end, less the 2-lap dashes that seem very common in real life at the moment. But hopefully we get a nice long run to the end. Just one more thing to clean up before the end. First of all, Larry McDonald chatting in YouTube chat while driving under caution, which is quite impressive in itself. He was responding when he said his comment that you read out a couple of minutes ago. He was responding to a comment about someone complaining that someone made it 3 wide, and the fact that it's a super speedway. That's what he was responding to. So now I understand his comment a bit more, and I don't think he was blaming anyone involved in the last crash there particularly.
10-4 on that. Well, we're going to have that restart now. Let's see how they're going to handle it. 3 wide, 4 wide, who knows? Get that restart. Alex Coffey's going to get the start and a good jump. However, it does not look like he's going to have much help right now. He's kind of stuck. And think about it this way, too. Ralph Hutchinson Motorsports is sitting on the 2 cars behind him is for Ralph Hutchinson Motorsports, so they're going to be working together. That's going to be a difficult thing to get by to 54 and hold off a whole entire team right behind him.
Yeah, this is tricky now. Potential last restart of the day. The intensity ramps up, and the outside line begins to come. Here goes Coffey. Now he's going to try and do the blocking of 2 lanes in one go, but as he moves up, Sean O'Brien Jr. will get to the inside of him.
Already 3 wide in the back of the pack, but up front still that 54 is getting pushed by the 6 car Delaney. The 65 of Sean O'Brien Jr. is hanging on to this lead just barely. I gotta tell you, this is wild to me. It was cool to see him get back up to the front like that, but Alex Coffey trying to make the outside line work. They're 3 wide, door banging in the back. I see with Williams and Brickley. They're still heading into the corner, still side by side, and not much help on the outside line from the 3rd place car, Dyson.
Laney's got a great pushing car, hasn't he, in that outside line. That's the perfect place for him, 2nd place in the line, but he's going to want to win, so he's not going to stay there forever, and that could hurt whoever is in front of him at the time. Coffey at the moment, as you can see, 3 wide in the background. Only about 24 on the lead lap now, by the way. That's why this field looking, 25, excuse me. That's why this field looking a lot smaller than it did earlier on.
At bottom line, making it work. 11 laps to go this time by. Top 2 have really single filed out, but the 3rd place battle is still side by side with Coffey and Lucas Hoytsma there on the bottom, as they are still 3 wide back in the pack.
It's tight back in the pack, isn't it? And hopefully they all manage to get through without trouble. They do. They're just not quite able to form up. Oh, here we go, through the middle.
Benefiel left Kulmacheski out to dry a little bit. The 88's going to be up in the 3rd lane. Look out. That 83 is most certainly putting that 88 up and out of the groove, and he is not happy about it. That is to say the least.
Oh, that is a big shame. He is in a must-win situation, and with only 10 to go, he's going backwards.
I hate to see it, man. I really do. Hey, he was doing a good job hanging on to the spot, but up front, we still have hard pushing going on. Coffey's leading the bottom lane now, and Kumacheski settles in at the tail of the field. Up front, Hoytsma still there. On the outside, trying to make that line work. Looking at this field right now, I mean, in terms of who's left, who could possibly get a win in your end situation, Hunter Trule's the highest up that I see in the 71 car, but he's like the 4th car on the outside line, 5th car, 7th car on the outside line, so he's going to have a ways to go to actually capitalize on it.
Yeah, he's going to have a very long way to go, but 3 wide moments are becoming a little bit more common now, so if he can just get himself onto the back of one of those, then you just never know what can happen as Coffey begins to block the outside line, because it's coming again, led by Hoytsma in 97, and that's going to leave the inside for Sean O'Brien. He's not got a pusher. Hutchison only now gets to the back of him, and so the outside line's going to be coming on the back straight.
Checkups happening throughout the field. But up front, that outside line, you see it, Delaney, 3rd car in line, almost clear, not quite. The 97 and the 54 are both clear, but they're slowing up a little bit. That's going to be a checkup on the outside line here shortly. The 41 tries to make it 3 wide in the middle of the 6 car. He thinks better of it and lifts for a second to get back in line.
I think it was almost unintentional from Dyson, but Benefield's eyes lit up there and he thought, no, please do go for it. Dyson said absolutely not. I don't want to be 3 wide in this situation at the moment. This is intense stuff at the moment as we race 8 to go at Daytona. It's great racing though, I've got to say. Well done to all of these guys for the way they've raced so far up until this point.
The 41 and the 6 last week made contact to the point where the 6 car went spinning. 41 is now all over the back bumper. That's 6 again. Just bringing that up, that's something that happened last week. We're coming to get 7 laps to go when they cross the stripe. That outside line's got the momentum right now. Alex Coffey leading this thing in the 54 car.
They've gone out a long way. They've gone out a very long way. And that could, big stack up though on the inside. They're not quite going to be in a position to really get the run here either. So now Delaney takes the initiative. He drops down low and Coffey blocks him. Hoytsma goes backwards on the outside.
This is going to be quite the run from the 6 car, doing exactly what he needs to do there. They're 3 wide now. The 21 of Patrick Gitter's trying to make the top line work. He brings the 71 and the 99 of Galata up to the top 3rd lane. That's not going to work back there. We're on board now, looking back at Delaney up front. That is with the 54 Coffey for the lead. That outside line with 6 laps to go is starting to develop.
Absolutely. 3 wide in the back, but at the moment, it's not really becoming the norm at the front of the field. Oh, there's a big crash! 71 in the fence. Truel ends his championship there.
No caution yet. He's sitting backwards on the racetrack. Still no caution. And now it comes out. Caution's out now. There you go. Oh man, there's no graphic there. So just yikes. That was something. Now we're gonna get a, what is this? This is probably gonna be a close to a green-white checker to your restart. Very close. Let's see what happened here. I think the Galata machine had a lot to do with this one.
Let's find out. As we ride aboard, Truel's in front of us here. As we're riding on board, he's sort of pushed kind of wide, gets kind of loose, and that's it. When you're running so close, you know, if you're even a tiny bit loose, you're going to be involved in it. And Gitter is going to have a damaged car to end this race, unfortunately.
Watch Galata here. I think Galata enters like a late apex to the. He turns later into the corner than the cars around him. That gets him up the track a little more and squeezes the 71 to the point where he has to change his line. That's not necessarily the best angle to see it. We're probably gonna. Can we ride on board with 71 facing forward? I think that would be the best way to be able to see what he went through.
Maybe Galata did just run up a little bit high. See it from
right
this
there.
angle a little bit. He's a little bit higher than normal. No, he's still left a car width there, but and I think, you know, the Truel getting a little bit loose on the outside there is really not helped. But yeah, there you have it. That's another caution, 71, and that surely is the end of his 2025 championship hopes. And we're just left with a couple now in the must-win situation. Kumasevsky and Williams, who are still on the lead lap. Stephen Williams is 16th, by the way, the best of the must-win situation cars.
And something to report, I can officially say without a doubt that right now your regular season points champion is now been clinched, and it will be the 41 of Andrew Dyson winning the championship for the full-length Cup Challenge in the regular season. After Jordan Person just got a DQ, so that's what opened the door for him to be clinched as the next the first regular season champion of the full-length Cup Challenge this year.
And it's great to know that as well, isn't it? Going into the last run of this race, he will know with just a few laps to go, he can properly race for the win here, Dyson, and maybe take a few more playoff points beforehand. But fear of getting involved in a crash, he might have not quite taken it as sort of close to the close to the line as far as a crash goes than he might do now. So he can probably go for this now, as we're about to cross 3 to go. It looks like it's going to be a 2 to go restart here.
I mean, maybe we should go and talk to him. We got a minute. The pace car still has the lights on. Let's go up here and tell him the good news. Hang on. Let's see if we can't drag him up here. Just give me one moment. We're going to bring up Andrew Dyson to talk with us here. Hang on. There we go. Andrew Dyson, Kirk Mills in the booth. You got a copy?
Hello, Kirk. How you going, man?
Hey, I just got to tell you, with that driver finishing 25th, Jordan Pearson falling out of the race, we can definitely say right now that you have clinched the regular season championship. So you are the regular season champion right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
man,
sure.
I was so worried about where I had to finish, man. I got like Matt right in front of me and John right in front of me as well. And I'm like doing everything I can just to hang on. That's pretty good. That's a relief, actually.
Yep, absolutely, man. You did it. You got up there in time. You had to finish 25th or better, and that was 25th that just retired. So you should still be able to hang on to it. And congratulations. How's it feel?
Well, yeah, like I said, a bit of a relief, really. But no, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's pretty big. I mean, I know, like, someone like John probably hasn't done all the races this year. Or he definitely hasn't. He definitely hasn't done as many as me. And it just goes to show, his talent, to not do as many races and still have so many points. But yeah, for someone like me, it's a pretty big deal. So pretty happy about it. Big thanks to all the Dirty South boys, and yeah, really appreciate all the help.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on this restart, and congratulations again on the championship.
Thank you, man.
You got it. Andrew Dyson, unofficial regular season champion, right there in the 41 car. So green, white, checkered rules. Let's start talking about this, right? So they can do unlimited amounts.
Okay, so yeah, like real life again, like NASCAR overtime, we're just gonna go again and again and again. As I say, I'm not sure I'm a fan of these 2-lap restarts really, but sometimes you can't do anything about it. It's a lot less entertaining than a 13-lap run towards the finish, but anyway, it's going to be high intensity, a minute and a half, and it's going to decide the winner tonight from Daytona. We have got absolutely no idea who it's going to be either. It's going to be a big discovery. Let's see what happens on this restart. No idea who's going to win. Really, no idea.
There's a lot of guys up here at the front have yet to win this season. Alex Coffey is one that comes to mind. He's brand new. He's just trying to come and get a win here. That's all he's here for in the 54 car. So he's going to do everything he can. O'Brien Jr. hasn't won yet this season. DeCiani hasn't won yet this season. And many others here in the top 10 have yet to win. So we're going to see what happens here. But Delaney leading this thing on the inside. Oh, it's going to be the 54, I believe, with the choose on the outside. So he chose the outside line. We're going to get 2 laps to go. Green, white, checkered finish. And here we go. Pace car dives down into the pit lane. We're back underway. 2 laps to go. And it looks like Coffey got a great jump. And then he goes straight to the bottom in front of Delaney.
And he's got to try and just switch his focus between the two. Try and control this race between the two as well. But that's going to be very difficult. With Delaney pushing him, he's going to be very nicely out front quickly, though, here, Coffey. As he comes off of 2 for the first time, the outside goes absolutely nowhere.
There goes Cameron Stone to the outside line. Contact with Galata and the 8 car of Hutchinson. More contact in the back of the field, but they keep it straight for the time being. Into turn number 3. Cameron Stone leading the outside line. Where did he come from? He wasn't up front all night. He's getting pushed by Adam Benefiel as it comes out of turn number 4. We will have 1 lap to go when they cross the stripe. Who's going to win the regular season finale here at Daytona? There goes DeCiani to the top. No help from behind. He's pulling right back in line with Delaney all over the back bumper of Alex Coffey in the lead. Galata looking high. DeCiani going low. He turns Galata around, goes Galata out to the outside wall, collecting multiple cars, still green. The top 3 are still up front. Keep an eye up front. Here we go. That's 65 down the back straightaway, all over the back bumper of the 6 and the 54. What are they going to be willing to do to win this race? Coming through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Alex Coffey, Jonathan Delaney, Sean O'Brien Jr. Oh, Delaney blows up. Delaney blows up, and at the line, it's going to be Alex Coffey winning at Daytona in the regular season finale for the full-length Cup Challenge.
God, I thought Delaney was in the perfect place. He was in the perfect place off of 4 there. But off of the final turn, it all falls apart, and he's going to end the race way down in the 10. He's going to be 9th place in the end. Thank goodness the regular season championship wasn't riding on that, by the way. He'll be very relieved about that in a way, but he'll finish the season 3rd. He ends the race down the bottom end of the top 10, and Alex Coffey takes victory. What a fantastic performance from him, and a great victory as well.
Alex Coffey for Precision Speed Solutions. He gets the job done in the 54 car. What a run. He was able to hang on to it, but I don't think that 6 car was going to leave until that car, until out of turn number 4, but his car blew right when he made the move, so I think that was it. 54 is going to do some burnouts here on the front stretch. He well earned them. Winner at Daytona, the 54. What a race. What a run for that 54 car.
Wow. And what a great way to end the regular season for him. Starts the day 50th place in points. The reason he's not a winning your in driver, of course, is because he's nowhere near that top 25, even if he wins tonight, which indeed he has. It's his first top 5 of the season as well. He's only been finished in the top 10 once. It's only his 5th appearance of the season, but Alex Coffey has taken the win at Daytona. That's the magic of Daytona. Anybody can win, and anything can happen, and it has here tonight. Over 400 miles. What a great finish to that race.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go ahead and take a look here after these burnouts at what happened going out of turn number 2. The large accident, multiple cars were involved, and it absolutely shuffled the running order. And we're going to run through everybody who finished the race under their own power, where they ended up, and how that looks here in just a moment. But that 54 he's really drawing this thing out. He's so happy he just won the race here for the full-length Cup Challenge. That's awesome for him.
Why not as well? Why not? What a great win for him. This is the crash through 1 and 2. So it's the last lap of the race. White flag effectively racing back to the line anyway, no matter what happens. How does Galata, though, end up in the fence? DeCiani sends him there. So DeCiani got down on the low side. That's a big hit for 81 as well. But a Dyson involved in that. Again, he'll be very thankful the regular season championship wasn't riding on that.
Multiple cars were involved in that one. Multiple were DQ'd as well. But what I can tell you is the 99 found a hole. The 4 car DeCiani. If we ride on board with the 4 car DeCiani, we'll see a lot there. But this was the final lap, final corner. You can see right there, 6 had a problem. Everybody else comes through to finish out the race. A little bit of a wreck on the front stretch as well, but they finish out the run, and yet another top 5 for DeCiani, coming up just 1 spot short from the regular season championship.
Yeah, so just a little bit short in the end. He had a good run towards the finish here. You can see him here. He's just got on the inside of Galata, and I'm afraid he is the cause of this crash on the last lap of the race. It's not quite a car width, is it? He just dumps Galata to the outside. And unfortunately, that costs him a chance at the race win in the end. He loses too much momentum in that, and there wasn't enough of the race left for him to make up that time.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick step aside here And we're going to go ahead and be back here in just one moment to talk with our top 3 finishers and give us the final running order. You have been watching Maconi Entertainment's production of the Full-Length Cup Challenge from Daytona. We'll be right back after this short break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to the World Center of Racing here online for iRacing, as we have just concluded one heck of a race here, 400 miles around Daytona. And now we're going to go ahead and show you our finishing results here for the Silver Wars 400. Winning tonight's race, we'll talk to him a little later, is Alex Coffey, followed by Sean O'Brien Jr., finishing in his season best 2nd place. 3rd place will be Cameron Stone, followed by Matt DiCiani for another top 5, and Rich Kleinman getting a top 5. That's awesome for him and that team. Patrick Gitter will get 6th. Alex Princeton comes back to get a top 10 in 7th. Adam Benefiel, 8th. Jonathan Delaney with a blown motor will get 9th, and Thomas Kulmacheski will finish out in 10th.
11th place for Billy Breckley in the 44, finishes ahead of Lucas Hoytma. Hutchison. Stephen Williams couldn't win tonight, so he's out of the playoffs, finishing 14th. And Matthew Long. Andrew Dyson, who sews up the regular season championship, was 16th. Dylan Hobson, the last driver on the lead lap. Gallotta retired on the last lap, as we saw, with Brandon Hastings and Paul Gallimore rounding out the top 20.
21st, Dave Hoytsma, followed by Clayton Hoffman, Larry McDonald, Hunter Truel, Jordan Pearson, Daniel Llewellyn, Evan Mesnard, Alex Murray, Tyler Hunter, and Devin Medeiros round out your top 30 finishers.
Some of these guys retiring from the day. Tanner Marty couldn't win an in today. He was out in that same crash as the last two. Derek Heitman, 32nd, ahead of Neil Pearson. Also a failed win in your in driver. Chris Davis and Kevin Zosiak rounds out the top 35. Paul Hill, Bobby Anderson, Eddie Rose, Jacob Simpson, and Jason Taylor round out the 40 drivers who started, or at least tried to, tonight from Daytona.
All right, now let's take a look here at our playoff standings going into Darlington. They are official here. You can see Andrew Dyson's going to be on the front, and he's going to be leading the way here, as it looks like Sean O'Brien Jr. will be 6 points back once we get started in 16th. So that will be next week. But let's go ahead and bring up the winner of tonight's race, Alex Coffey. Alex Coffey, Kirk Mills in the booth. You got a coffee?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Yeah, I got you, man. Congratulations. You got yourself a win in the Full-Length Cup Challenge. How's it feel, man?
It feels really good, especially against a really stacked field like that. And with my typical super speedway luck, I wouldn't even have been in the mix by that point in the race. So it feels good for luck to be on our side for once.
I mean, in that last lap, when you saw the 6 car pushing you out ahead of that wreck happening in turn 2, what were you thinking in your mind going into turn 3?
I figured if he got a shot that he would try to pull out. Well, if he just formed a good run, he would try to ditch me there. And I'd been working with him all night. We'd been really good, hooked up, but going for a win, you don't expect anybody just to push you right to it. So I don't know how he blew up. I guess he was planning on getting it hot to the point where he had to pull out, and then it blew early. I'm not sure, but he's a hell of a pusher, a hell of a driver, so I appreciate Delaney there for the push.
Is there anybody else you'd like to shout out for the rest of the evening? And congratulations again on the win. That's pretty crazy stuff to watch you get up there. So anybody want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Precision Setups. You can go get a setup at precisionsetups.gg. Shout out to Alex Murray for building us a fast car tonight, and Z for giving me some spotter help there at the end. It really made it easier on me to know what was going on and being able to focus out of the windshield and out of the mirror when needed, but just made it a lot easier. And I appreciate y'all for doing the broadcast and all the admins putting it on every week. It's a great league.
All right, man. Well, will we be seeing you next week at Darlington?
I'm gonna try to be there. I'm not sure. I might be going out of town, so we'll see. Hopefully, if I'm at my house, I'll be there. But we'll see.
All right. Well, thanks so much for talking with us. Congratulations again on the win.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Alex Coffey there. Now we're going to go ahead and speak with our second place finisher, Sean O'Brien Jr., and he's going to be with Ewan.
Sean, welcome in. Good to have you with us, and congrats on second place tonight from Daytona. How are you feeling at the end of that one? Because this race in itself, before we even take into account the championship implications for the playoffs, this race tonight was an exciting one to finish off. Tell us about that last restart from where you were sat.
Yeah, we were working with Alex, Coffee and Murray all night, the two of them, and then the 4 RHM guys, and we were doing good all night. And it got down to it, and John just told me, he said, just get on my bumper and don't lift, and that's what I did. I still don't know what happened to Ralph and Lucas there. They dropped way back, but yeah, just couldn't get it done. John blew up, and yeah.
That was that. I mean, you must still be pleased, though, to make it into the playoffs. There must have been times tonight where you were a little bit concerned about those other contenders, because there was a lot of people for you to keep an eye on. How pleased are you to finally have that lockdown now and that place in the playoffs secure next week?
Yeah, this is my 4th year in this league, and this is my 4th time sweating the playoff bubble out to Daytona. So we're definitely experiencing this. Not sure if that's a good thing. But yeah, I just wrote down a little piece of paper, the names of the guys who can knock me out, and as the race went on, just kept crossing more names off as they dropped out. And shout out Logan Sheets, he's John's crew chief. He was keeping an eye on them. Yeah, I mean, I was as low as you could be. As I rock bottom. After we pit in stage 1, I spun getting on the brakes and went a lap down, which I always seem to do. But rebounded. Ralph and all of them backed up to me. I really appreciate that. They're really trying to get me that win. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's just a lot of stress, but I'm used to it.
Well, maybe next year we can get you in the playoffs before the final race of the season, or the final race of the regular season. That would be nice. But congrats to Sean anyway on securing that place in the top 16 and a second place in the race, of course, as well. And thanks for chatting to us at the end.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much. That is Sean O'Brien Jr. in second place tonight. Just ahead of Cameron Stone, who I believe you can catch up now with, Kirk.
Cameron Stone, my man, you got third tonight. Tell me, how's it feel, man?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't pretty happy to come on P3. Get a chance to talk to you guys again, but I'm pretty disappointed. The losing streak continues. Actually, my last win in the league was this same race 4 years ago. felt like we had a shot at it, and just, we didn't take the run when we needed to before the last caution, and got kind of trapped on the bottom. But we had a good restart. Me and Adam pulled out on the back stretch there, but even though we locked bumpers, we weren't really going anywhere. I don't know if our third car wasn't really playing tandem really good, or what was the case. So we got to go back to R&D on that to see why we can't push each other. But it's just good to come on P3. Good to not destroy the car, which is what I usually do at plate races these days. And good race to Alex. Really wanted to see either Sean or myself win this race. Nothing against Alex, even though he did wreck me last week. Good race with him, but I kind of wanted to see Sean win it if I could.
Well, I got to ask you, man, on that final restart, I saw you and Adam duck out and make that move, and it just worked out for you. You were able to get up. Whenever you were able to catch back up to the front group there, did you feel like you had any chance whatsoever of catching up to the 54 at all?
Well, I felt like because there was a little wreck over there in 2, and it kind of broke the pack up a little bit. And I said, well, if I can get through this, I'll get a big run on these guys. And that's what was happening. I had a big run going into 3, and it was 3 cars in tandem in front of me. And I knew if John pulled out and started side drafting Alex, that I was probably going to get there around the time we got to the pit road entry to enter the tri-oval. But John was trying to push to get Alex, a little bit away from other cars so that he could, have a bigger run on him and that Alex wouldn't get any help. But his engine just needed to last a couple more seconds. So it blew up going into 3 or coming off of 4. I don't even remember, but he blew up, and without the side draft, it wasn't enough. The closing speed wasn't enough. And then Sean throws a block on me coming to the line. He told me it was a block. I was like, I thought you were just coming up to see if I would push you. And I never lifted. I tried to give him everything I got. But we were just a little bit too far back after the pack broke up. Not a lot of energy behind me. I was just trying to use the slipstream ahead.
Now going into Darlington here, I mean, is that one of your better tracks, or how do you like about what do you think about Darlington?
I wouldn't say that it's not necessarily one of my better tracks. I usually have good finishes there. I'm probably not going to be the one to look for to have blister and pace. That's usually Bryson and Adam and John. They run really great at Darlington, but I usually keep it clean there and come home, solid top 5 or better half of the top 10, So I think this the first round is full of racetracks that, I may not necessarily have a great shot to win, but I do got a really good shot to run top 5 in all of them. So just have some clean runs to get some points, and hopefully we'll make it on to round 2.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and see you there next week. Anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Mom. I don't know if Mom stayed up to see the whole thing, but we got another interview. Shout out to Mom. Shout out to my wife. She puts up with me coming down here and racing pretend cars on the weekends, so appreciate her. Anybody else that's watching, supporting us, appreciate all you guys. I was going to give a shout out to Bryson Hicksonball, but I'm upset with him. We got to go handle that in Motor Coach later. Might have to meet him at the Wendy's, throw hands. Before I leave, I wanted to drop some stats on you guys. Maybe you could talk about them next week if I run good. So since I last won a race, I have run 84 races in this league since my last win. I've finished second 7 times in those 84 races, 23 top 5s and 47 top 10s. So we are all over it, knocking on the door. We're gonna check a win off the box sooner or later, or I'm gonna go absolutely insane. But we got 10 more chances to do it this year, and playoffs is full of racetracks that I like to run at, so anything can happen.
Well, thanks so much for that information too, there, Cameron. I had no idea. I tell you what, whenever you end up getting that win, I hope I'm there to be able to celebrate it with you, man.
Well,
thanks
beer will be on me.
With us.
Beer will be on me for everybody.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks so much for coming and talking with us. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and congratulations on the top 3.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You got it, man. All right. That will probably do it here tonight there. Ewan, tell me, what are you thinking about next week? Southern 500, Darlington.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun at Darlington next week. It's a challenging racetrack in the same way that this one is, but obviously a very, very different challenge at the Southern 500. Going to be one of those days where it's just a very, very long afternoon in the sim rig. So I'd imagine even longer than this race here at 400 miles. 500 miles is a slower circuit, so it's going to be a long race at the Southern 500 next week. It's going to be the first race of the playoffs as well, so the pressure on those 16 guys who have made it in is going to be ramped up to 11, that is for sure. But can't wait. Looking forward to the playoffs now. This is the business end of the season, and it starts next week.
Absolutely. The season does not stop here. Playoffs are about to begin. Very next stop, crown jewels of the schedule, Southern 500, August 30th at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please mark your calendars, because if tonight was wild, Darlington will be outright unforgettable, all right? And from my partner, Ewan O'Leary, I'm Kirk Mills. DJ Lyons, our producer here. We want to thank you so much for joining us tonight for the Soda Wars 400. Until next time, good night from Daytona, and we'll see you under the lights at Darlington.